Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where we think we know everything and we really don't know shit. Tonight, we'll have a couple people on talking about that disgusting ass game that we saw Sunday on prime fucking television. What a fucking disgust. Some people, I tried to be positive. I try to give people chances. I'm not going to try to totally overreact over week one, but damn, again to Green Bay. We're going to talk about that tonight. Ain't that right, Grogu? Next on the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. Hit it!
You are now rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything, but honestly, they don't know shit.
These summer league games and they tell you about these new up-and-coming coaches.
I think we should get rid of every motherfucking owner in Chicago.
Enzo and Caruso both been there around the corner like your defensive generals.
But they need to get that strong safety who's not scared to hit somebody.
They really don't know shit.
Want to know who else looks like they really don't know shit? Our offensive coordinator and our defensive coordinator. It looks like they really don't know shit. Anyway, welcome to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. I know a lot of you people out there are frustrated, as well as you should be. Chicago, we are a very prideful city. We love our beloved Bears. But god damn, can they beat Green Bay once? Just fucking once? They sitting up there said we're going to take the North. How the fuck we going to take the North when we calling retarded ass plays? Coaches seem like they don't know what the fuck they doing. Fuck is going on? Anyway, I'm going to be your host for the night. T-Nick is taking the day off. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in the dream team. First up, my man that knows all the stats from the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. My man, JB.
Man, what up, Foul, man?
What up, J? How you feeling?
Like ran over the horse doo-doo. Shoot.
Oh, shit. No doubt. I think the whole city is upset about that. I think this has been one of the most painful losses that we're going to have in a long time. And hell, we lost a lot of games last year. I want to honestly say the losses last year felt a lot better than this shit. This shit was fucking terrible.
So here's what I got to say real quick before for my monologue. We look at a situation where we say, oh, after about game 7, the Bears started tanking, right? Did you not notice some of the similar play calling that was during that tanking time? All game Sunday. The screens, the missing the missing the deep route, no intermediate game, trying to outsmart people when you didn't need to. Justin run left, Justin run right. Not on design runs this time, but because there's no blocking. This looks like the same movie all over again with different actors.
Exactly.
Tired of it, man.
Exactly. Hey, I feel you. City of Chicago feels you. So let's go ahead and bring in the next member of the Dream Team. He's a tank, but you all know him as Frank. Frank, the tank.
Man, usually we get so excited to come on. But man, I'm gonna speak for JB and saying horse shit, not horse doo doo, because man, that was some hard times. There's no question about that.
Give a shout out to the chat early. Bullets. What's going on? Missed you, my man. Skylock, Ace, Stewart, Don Burr in this bitch. Lord have mercy. I know he fucking probably high off of some coke or something after that win that they had against the Chiefs.
Whoa.
Where was he this whole offseason, man? Was he just meditating, Don Burr? We haven't heard from you in a while, man.
I don't know. He was probably at fucking Lions camp or something. I don't know.
Probably works for the Lions, and we don't even know.
All right, are we going to go ahead and bring in our first guest?
Well, we got one more we still got to introduce. Remember, he hijacked us.
Oh, yes, he did hijack the pregame. Without further ado, we're going to bring in also the other member who's also a key contributor in the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. Well, not the podcast, but the Chicago Clubhouse Network. Our man, who has his show, I think it's on Fridays right now.
It's Fridays now.
Yeah.
I think this will be his first Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, everything that he does is easy. Come on in, easy.
Yeah, everything's easy with the exception of watching Chicago Bears football. My God, what a miserable Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, that was bad. And you know what pissed me off the most was, what's the thing that throughout the year, like I talked about, like, so like I even started annoying myself with how much I talked about this. But like, what did I say was the biggest problem with the Bears last season? Do y'all remember?
No.
There's a lot.
Pass rush.
Oh, all of us have said that.
We had a lot more issues than just pass rush last year.
Sure. But the thing that bothered me the most yesterday is, obviously, you know, they weren't winning their one-on-ones. You know, like, they weren't going to get there with 4. And it's just like, you would have been able to solve so many problems if you would just blitz. Just, Jesus.
At least, even if it's not even a blitz, it's try something.
At least, like, pretend you're going to blitz. The one play I remember them blitzing was they sent Kyler off the edge, and he did happen to hurt his hand on this play. But, like, it was the one play where, you know, the 3rd and 8, where they were not able to convert. Because when you blitz a guy who's making his second career start, you're going to make him a little bit more uncomfortable. And the fact that every single play, they drop back in the same zone over and over and over again, and they were only sending 4 guys after the quarterback. It's not like you're not playing touch football. It's not 7 Mississippi, right? Yeah. Like, you're allowed to go after the quarterback. You're allowed to try. It felt like they were trying to make it as easy for Jordan Love as possible. When I say I could sit back there and make the throws that Love was making, I'm barely exaggerating. Yeah. Maybe I couldn't do it, but you know who could?
We'll get into that because we want to bring in our first guest. We do got a lot of guests on. We do got a lot of guests on today, you know.
Yeah. So we're going to bring in our first guest.
Our first guest, everyone should know him. All right. He is a Bears beat writer. He's going to give us that intel from what it was like inside that locker room, because I'm sure it was not good. So let's bring him in. Nicholas Carino.
Jesus.
What's up, you guys?
What's up, Nick? How you doing, man?
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, inside the locker room, it was very quiet. Let's just put it that way. There weren't even a lot of players around. And I don't blame them from the ass whooping the Packers gave them, but it was like a funeral, right? It was really quiet. Not a lot of guys were even available to talk if they even wanted to talk. But you guys were echoing a lot of the same things I was thinking right when that second half happened up in the press box, seeing it was still a close game at that point until the Packers turned it around. They get the field goal at the end of the half. Then they go touchdown, and that's where that game got out of hand. But it was, like you guys said, it was something that a lot of people were looking forward to, the Bears themselves. And they looked like the team that wasn't prepared, that didn't want it, didn't win those one-on-one matchups. And it was just such a disappointing way to start the 2023 season. I wonder, is this more disappointing than the 2019 opener? But again, the offense couldn't score, but it was, again, Packers late night game. And
good point.
No,
Both
I put it.
disappointing.
This one was
I
good.
think they're kind of neck and neck, but at least with the 2019 opener, like the defense was so dominant.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
and so we still had a little hope after that. Like, okay, you know, if the offense,
We had something working.
right, and we won our next 3 games, which was, you know, it felt like okay, maybe we could head in the right direction. This just feels like nothing worked. It felt like everything was shit, with the exception of Roshan Johnson, maybe.
So let's get into
I
an
guess you
agenda,
could say
guys.
Cairo Santos went.
Yeah, I mean, no, Santos
I'm
did a job. Like,
not even gonna give them because look at how many times.
No,
when he
I
made
just
the
said
kick.
Cairo Santos.
But-
I didn't say special teams.
I'm glad he made the kick.
Yes.
yeah,
I
no,
said
Cairo did
Cairo.
a job.
Look how many times. There was 2 times he went to kick, and both of those were almost blocked.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
they went
this
through.
line has no. We're gonna dig into it. Let's get right on. Since we're talking about the line, let's get into the poor line play. First and foremost, I don't know what Luke Getsy scheme is where he's got Braxton Jones coming through on play action, rolling out on a bootleg to the right side instead of having the
He
guard
should
do
be a
that.
guard. Yeah.
I don't know what he has when Darnell Wright is getting pressured, especially on corner blitzes, and he sends Cole Kmet to the other side to help Braxton Jones. There's no chipping. There's no max pro. There's no 7 protection with how you got 5 linemen in protection. You have the running back chip and go out the route, tight end chip go out the route. There's none. Well, at least we don't see that happening. I don't know if that was a play call. Nate Davis, what the hell are you doing? Lucas Patrick, just come on the show and just quit playing football. Seriously, like you're just not good at it anymore. We get Feeney, big guy, young guy, hungry, thirsty guy. We don't put him in and help. We had a tackle eligible play. Like, what do you guys think about this line? I'm gonna go ahead and say our line coach don't know what he's doing either. Hell.
Yeah, Nick, I'd like you to break that down first. Let us know what you saw out of that line.
Yeah, it goes back to those one-on-one matchups, and consistently you saw Green Bay was just winning those, whether it was a Braxton Jones one-on-one or Nate Davis, who hasn't been practicing, guys. It's all well documented, very well documented. The man has not practiced very much, and it showed last Sunday. Mm-hmm. It showed in terms of how he was getting beat. It wasn't just with power. It was just finesse from some of these guys. He just hasn't had enough reps, and it really did show. You guys, when you're running a 3rd and 1 on the very first drive of the game where you need your offensive line to get a push.
Matt Nagy special.
And you have Cole Kmet as the QB sneak, and they've done that before last year, but clearly it didn't work. And then what I don't like about the play is that you don't have anyone directly behind Fields to give that push, because Green Bay ran the same thing later in the game.
And they got like
3rd
3
and 1.
yards.
They got the yardage, and it's just the design of how they do things where it just doesn't make sense schematically where how Luke Getsy's thinking about it, as opposed to Matt LaFleur, who obviously has a lot more credibility in this league in terms of offensive play calling and how to get the most out of your offense, as opposed to Luke Getsy. So it's little things like that make a big difference. And it was throughout the entirety of the game, you guys.
It just, I don't understand. You know, like I like sometimes the Cole Kmet under center type play. Like, sure, you know, it could be a little.
If shit's working, you do that.
If shit's working, yeah. But like, are we really trying that on play number 6 of the season?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you don't never try that.
I thought the Eagles gave us the blueprint on how to properly run a quarterback sneak with that scrum, where you get everyone behind him, you push him forward 3 or 4 yards. How come? Like, why not steal that?
Well, I got a better idea. How about when Cole Kmet gets under center and he waits almost 2 seconds to hike the ball?
Yeah, you're supposed to get under there, snap it, go.
No,
don't even think about it. Get on, snap it.
Forget all that. They didn't do it. You saw all the gaps get cluttered. Yeah. Why wouldn't you have a contingency plan like say, hey, Cole, if this happens, hike the ball to you, pitch it to Justin Herbert, you're the lead blocker on the outside left swing. Yeah. Like, if you really want to get creative, because Ray Charles is dead and blind and saw that coming, guys. Like,
we all saw it coming. I still don't think the gimmick was necessary. Why not run it?
You have a fullback.
That's where I was gonna go right there, JB.
Running under center play, like I felt like we ran 2 plays under center, like 2 running plays under center, like halfback dive type plays in the first half, and those were the only 2 plays that worked.
But the thing was, we've been talking about this all of last year and so far this year. You have a fullback. Why don't you use him in a situation like that? Even if it's an I formation, let him be your lead blocker and put your running back in there. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Hey, Nick, on I wanted to know, since we know that you be in the locker room and everything, what the fuck is going on with Chase Claypool? You've been hearing rumors that, he's just not engaged. I don't know if he's one of those guys that actually needs the ball to be thrown towards him for him to be engaged into the game, because it looked like he was giving out a shitty effort. Me being a former wide receivers, we want to catch the ball. We don't never want to fucking go out there and just fucking block. Give us some routes where we can possibly get open, scheme us open or something. It seems like when it comes down to him, he doesn't get enough targets. I don't know if that's on the offensive coordinator, who obviously is showing that he doesn't know fucking shit, or if it's on Justin, he's not reading the field. What are you thinking? How was the mood in the locker room as far as him? What's going on with him?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times where Chase Claypool doesn't make himself available to speak, so it's on them. Like, they can literally say, like, they're at their locker, and you can approach any player except for the quarterback in the locker room and ask them, hey, can I ask you a couple questions? Chase Claypool, and they just opened up the locker room last week for us, hasn't been available yet. He wasn't anywhere to be found after the game. There's been a couple of times like that with Chase
why
Claypool.
that is, right? Because he's going to tell the truth.
That, or like he knows that when you put on the all-22 and see some of the effort plays that he's given, he's probably going to be asked about a lot of those things. But
he was bad.
He wasn't good, you guys. In terms of
you're looking Ecomania St. Brown thing.
So wait.
St. Brown. You guys brought up a really good point though, and I brought it up too in our last podcast. Like, if your game plan is to go attack the boundaries and have your wide receivers be your blockers, why is EQ inactive then? Mm-hmm. That's the one thing EQ does. That's the one thing he does, and that's why he's still on this team. But
he does it very well, the best we have.
Yeah, you're gonna have Valus inactive, you're gonna have other guys inactive, or EQ himself. But if that was part of your game plan, Justin said it was after the game, just to attack those boundaries. Put in EQ then. If he's not going to run routes, he's going to block. That's exactly what he's shown at least last season, and that you saw other guys try to attempt at doing that. Robert Tonyan had a bunch of whiffs, even though he only played a couple snaps. Chase Claypool wasn't putting any effort blocking. It's like you have the wrong personnel to run the game plan that you want. You're already at a disadvantage before the snaps even called. So it's again those little things, you guys, and they really do make an impact of what the result can and can't be on an every given play.
So I want to address this because people honestly need to get off Claypool's back. He was, let's say, had star potential in Pittsburgh his first year, right?
He still does, I feel like.
Hold on. It's like you're asking him, it's like in basketball. You're a three-point shooting team, and I'm a dunker slasher. Why do you have me shooting threes if I can't shoot threes and I'm a slasher dunker? They're trying to make him be something he's not because of his size. That's not what he brings to the table. 2 targets, one on that little BS screen pass, again, that we know it's coming. A couple of times I was able to watch the all-22. A couple of times he was open on some posts and some comebacks, and I don't know if Justin was gun shy, if he just didn't see him, didn't feel comfortable, or if Getsy literally told him, stick with the horizontal game. Because it's like, when you see somebody wide open, pitch and catch for 12, pitch and catch for 15. That's what a quarterback wants. Easy, clean throws. And then there's too many times where it's like, if you know that I'm not a good blocker, because everybody doesn't do everything great just because you made the team, why would you send routes, running plays or screen plays my way, knowing I can't block? Again, that's not on Claypool.
The thing is, I don't think that he can't block. I think he's actually
he is a good
pretty decent blocker. The thing is that when you're a wide receiver, like I said, you want to get the ball. If you kind of think about it, his time in Chicago in this game is what? He gets targeted once, maybe
he got targeted twice this game.
I mean, also like there was a play. Oh, sorry, Foulmouth, continue.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm just saying like there was also a play I remember where they broke the huddle. And Mooney and Claypool both go to the left, and Mooney catches Claypool. Is like, no, dude, you're supposed to go over here, and like sends Claypool to the other side. And it's just like, there are little things like that where it just seems like Claypool doesn't quite know what's going on. I'm not saying he's dumb. I just think he's apathetic to an extent. Maybe he's doesn't love football. Also,
That's what I'm
maybe
afraid
talking
of
like a
right
meatball right now, but it felt very. And I saw Kyle Brandt tweet, some of his all 22, and it just looked like he was very disengaged with the game, and to a fault, to the point where it was negatively affecting the offense.
One play sticks out more than anything. Nick, I know you all talked about this one. The play where literally it was hike, throw, Mooney, bang, almost took his head off. Claypool is like, he tried to gear up to, like rev and get this real heavy block and whiffed. and it's like, and when you see situations like that, you cannot tell me that this is the first time that he's done that. Because like you practice how you play. So those are habits. Those are traits that you bring that you've definitely seen before. But you figure because he's 6'4", 230, he's an extra blocker on the field. You think Green Bay didn't scout that?
No.
Like they're like, oh, he can't block. We're gonna put a 5'9", 190-pound nickelback on him and watch him get the tackle. And sure enough, that's what happened.
EQ makes that block every time, by the way, just saying.
I mean, even if I put it to you like this, even if EQ was to make the fucking block, the fucking play was dead.
The play wasn't going anywhere anyway.
No,
Yes.
and that's why what we're talking about like, oh, we might not have had the right personnel for the game plan. I still don't think we have the right game plan for Green Bay.
We didn't
you don't have the right game plan for this personnel, period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that some more.
Nick, I wanted to ask you, what is the feel in the locker room, or what is the feel that you get from Bears fans and from people around the NFL about Luke Getsy? Because right now, to most Chicago people, first of all, I would never hire a motherfucker from Green Bay to run my fucking offense. I don't give a fuck.
No, that was Aaron Rodgers' freaking.
If they sit up there and say you're gonna go to hell if you don't do it, fuck it. Send me to hell with gasoline draws on. I'm going. I'm never allowing a motherfucker from Green Bay to call my fucking offense to be my fucking offensive coordinator.
Yeah, no, I mean with Luke, it's interesting. I think he got some credit last season for what he did with Fields and making him play outside the pocket a little bit more. But after this week one just debacle offensively, I think there's a lot of skepticism about what he thinks is the strength of this quarterback right now, right? Because we didn't see a lot of vertical shots. And there were some, going back and watching, there were some plays that Fields missed. Yes. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But there's still, I think, throughout the entirety of that game plan and scouting Green Bay like they did, it just didn't seem like they put Justin Fields in advantageous situations like Matt LaFleur did for Jordan Love at times. Isolating a linebacker like TJ Edwards one-on-one with your running back. It's a clear, easy matchup in cover one. You throw that. It's an easy pass. You identify, you throw it. Where are we seeing that with Justin Fields in some of those matchups? That's what your job is, Luke. Andrew Janocko, the quarterback coach, you find those matchups. You can't tell me that DJ Moore, obviously he ended the game with 2 targets, 2 receptions. He had a couple plays that should have gone to him, but still, you find a way to get DJ Moore the football more. I know Jair Alexander's a awesome corner. He is. But there's no way that you shut him out. Dude. Exactly. But so I just think
when you're doing these quick hit plays. DJ Moore, both of those throws that were made to him were quick hit plays, and he did not go down on first or second contact.
No, he showed
get him the freaking ball on those screens then.
You mean I saw a fucking slant route? What the fuck?
One.
Yeah. That was the only one, and it was the DJ Moore.
Wait, then there was one that was open to Claypool backside on another route. He never got a look. Why? I'm talking like, yo, hey.
And I can't, I'm going to be the first to say Justin did not have a good game. There's no question about that.
No,
he did not have
a concerning.
But when it comes down to that, there is such things as quarterbacks getting shell shocked, and if he's got somebody in his face right from the get go, pretty much the whole game, and you're going to judge him on one time where he actually has a clean pocket and he misses a receiver, shit.
I mean, even real quickly, I think I think a lot of what was preached this offseason and going into 2023. Take the check down. If the check down's there, you take it. Take the yards and he's doing that. Yes. But I think he's almost doing that too quickly to a fault.
I agree. He's doing the check down like it's the number one.
Exactly. I mean, a good play that kind of demonstrates that. It's a play that went for a first down to Khalil Herbert. It was a 12-yard gain to the left side. And I think we've all seen this on Twitter now. where
I
it's
actually
like
have that on our
DJ Moore
highlights.
there. And it's like I think his internal clock is going a little bit quicker than it should. And Justin Fields is supposed to be a big game hunter, man. Let him do that. Let him throw vertically. The best play that we saw was when he identified the defense. He knew exactly what Green Bay was in. I asked him this question after the game, like, what did you see from the defense and how did you know to identify the protection, whatever? He checked to the right protection, throws the dart to Darnell Mooney. It's a touchdown. It's one of the better vertical passes we saw. And I don't think Luke Getsy allowed him to do that as much. But like we said, he missed some plays that were out there. So
He did.
I think it's just being preached into him like, hey, don't turn the ball over so that because there's a check down there. And that needs to – you need to find that balance. You need to be able to still take the strikes but also be careful at times. And I think in this game, Justin Fields played too conservative, and that's why we didn't see a lot of the big plays downfield. It also doesn't help when your play calling doesn't, again, adhere to your quarterback strengths.
And
So
you know,
they
one thing I wanted to ask you too, because we preached about this the whole preseason, how we didn't see him do any of that in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And we all said it was like, well, I mean, and we had a lot of Bears athletes at our beautiful Q party, by the way. In case anyone didn't watch that, we had a great time at Q. Had a lot of Bears alumni show up, which was really awesome. But they all said it was like, in preseason, you're going to be vanilla. You're not going to show them what you can do. And I was like, okay, that makes me feel more confident. But it was the same stuff. It was the same stuff going into week one. And JB sent this to me, and I love it. And I'm going to show it because we are bringing it up. That was Justin Fields' passes right there.
And that's like the opposite of anytime I see a team beat Green Bay, like, because that is a good defense, you know, like I'm not denying, like Green Bay, they got talented people on that defense. And it's because, like, you know, they stay home. They can't be tricked like that. Like, it feels like the Bears' game plan was to trick the Packers instead of attacking them and just going after them. And, you know, and that never works. I've never seen it work.
I'll put it to you like this. Green Bay's defense, right? What is their weakness on defense? What position?
Linebackers.
Safeties.
Linebackers, that's it. Yeah.
Attack that shit.
And that's where you work the slants. And that's where you work the slants.
Exactly.
You work the slant. I feel like you could get play action. Like you get play action going. You could get those linebackers in a bind. Where am I going to cover Kmet or am I going to go up and play the run with Justin Fields? Like it's a game plan that writes itself. You know, run some power, run some traps, and then do play action off that.
But the thing is,
I didn't understand all the jet sweeps and the motions and the.
That only works if the defense actually moves. They're sitting there waiting on you.
Yeah.
Because you haven't threatened the field. You haven't threatened downfield. My thing is this. Like Nick says, the man is a big game hunter. Let him fucking hunt. Unleash him. Unleash him. If that means giving him the fucking power, I don't give a fuck about your sorry, tired ass fucking ego. If that means let him call the fucking plays from the fucking line of scrimmage, let him do it. Let him fail on his own. Don't come talking about, oh yeah, we working on Justin in the off field about the check down. Fuck a check down. Let him go deep. If he doesn't see nobody open when he's getting pressured, the son of a bitch got good enough legs. He already showed you can run over 1,000 yards, that he'll get the fuck up out of it. Unleash.
I don't mind him checking it down. I think it's good that he checks it down, just not all the time.
No,
it's not.
You don't think it's
cool?
I'm
not the whole fucking game.
Down, but
if you look at that chart that just came up,
not that much.
But that's the game. Listen to me. That's the game plan. Nick, am I lying? He came out and said that was the plan. It was never to threaten them vertically. He came out and said it in his interview.
Yeah, I mean, we asked him like, what was the reason for all these screen passes to the boundaries? Like, it was part of the game plan, and that also is like, it's very subtle, but it's like it's a little shot at Luke Getsy.
Right? I was.
It's like that's the game plan. I'm just running the game plan, coach. Like, I mean, that's what we're doing here. So I think they just really need to find that balance with it because, look, the screen game shouldn't be anybody's identity on offense. It should be a complementary piece to what you're trying to do overall. And clearly, the Bears need a lot of work on trying to just efficiently operate those screens. The best one. So here's another little thing about Green Bay and Chicago that kind of showed up in this game. The one screenplay that actually worked for the Bears happened, I think, on the first drive. The Khalil Herbert, Lucas Patrick got out in front. Correct. But here's the difference here, you guys. It was a lineman going out and blocking. Then you look at Green Bay's big 51-yard screen pass to Aaron Jones. Why that worked? It was 4 freaking linemen in front of Aaron Jones going downfield blocking. The Bears have their wide receiver skill guys that we talked about, Chase Claypool, maybe aren't the best guys to do it, do the blocking. It's like simple things like that. Who should be blocking for the guys to make these big plays happen? And that's just subtle differences, you guys, that honestly, added up throughout the entirety of the game. And that's why it ended up being a blowout.
Yeah.
So, Nick, I want Frank to put up this one, and I want your honest opinion on it. Put up that play I sent you. I want
this is something that you draw up in Madden.
You don't even draw this shit up in Madden.
So
fucking retarded. Look at that fucking right. That's fucking retarded.
First of all,
hey, let's do better than that word.
You got trips right.
You can do better.
You got trips right. You got commit at the top of the screen, which
that is the easiest play to cover.
Right?
Easiest play to cover.
You got, I think that was Roshan Johnson. Oh, by the way, Roshan,
great game. Only good game.
Blocking. Mm-hmm. I loved his tenacity, his motor.
Physicality.
He looks good in 23.
On this play, Nick, interior slot, mid slot, down at the bottom of the screen where we think we see a receiver, that's Kari Blasingame, the fullback. The two receivers are running corners into nickel cover two. I'm sorry, no, that was single high safety dime. Like, what are we doing?
That's the problem, you guys. Like, again, the personnel, like Kari Blasingame, he's just out there. Like, you're literally just putting a body out there and
Take
saying,
it down, Frank.
No, I feel like that's what I remember the Patriots doing that in the Super Bowl against the Rams when points were at a premium and they wanted to get a certain personnel package out there. So they sent Devlin out, in the like at the Z spot or whatever, and put Gronk next to him and put Edelman on the other side. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but like that's not what this is. Like, we have three really good receivers.
Hey, easy. You know what the yellow means, right?
The yellow, yeah, it's a route.
No, that's who he threw the ball to.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, and was that Blasingame?
Let's try your Alexander too.
Blasingame, right? Like,
I mean, I guess you took him off the play.
By the way,
so that's okay.
I like Blasingame on Alexander if we're running. If we're running an ISO, let me finish my sentence. If we're running if we're running halfback dive and you get to the next level and Alexander's in the way and Blasingame mows him down, that's the only time I want to see those two interact.
Easy. That was a passing play like on
I know, JB. I'm saying that's the only time. Forget it.
Yeah. All right, Nick, I know you got to head out, man. You only wanted to stay for 30 minutes, but I do appreciate you coming on, man.
We appreciate you.
One quick question before you leave, though. Any new kicks? Because, I see those.
No, haven't gotten any.
I remember you saying that you were looking for one, but couldn't find it.
I know. I've been looking, but I've been good about trying to be careful with how I spend the money. But who says that it can't happen tomorrow, right? But appreciate you guys having me on. I'm sorry we had to keep talking about this shitty game. Hopefully, a week from now we can talk about a Bears victory over the Bucs.
Get a positive one coming.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens.
All right, man. Take care, Nick. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on.
Nice guy.
Great.
Whoa.
Oh, hey.
Whoa. What happened there?
Was that my guy?
I didn't do it.
Well, shit, hell, without further ado, go ahead and bring him in.
Harry the Greek.
What's up, gentlemen?
How's it going, Harry?
How you guys doing? Everybody doing all right?
No. Not after
look, brother, I can't wear that fucking shirt. Sorry, I cannot wear that shirt right now. It's just I just never mind. I want to go put my head in sand somewhere.
I'm with you, Harry, 100%, brother. But I mean, my God, what did you see? And please tell me, what did Vegas see? Because that was a shit show.
Well, Chicago originally, if everybody remembers correctly, a couple weeks ago, Chicago originally was -3 in this game, and the total was 41 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's too many points. It's still Green Bay. They got a defense or a running team. Chicago's unproven offensive line, things of that nature. I said, it's going to be a little closer than what people anticipated. But then again, I jumped on the wagon and said, you know what? We got more. We got another tight end. We improved the offensive line with the exception of a couple injuries for this game. I said the biggest question mark in my mind was going to be, could we get a pass rush on Jordan Love? Great secondary, great linebacking core, but there's no pass rush. So what did I watch in the first half? I watched a game that I absolutely unloaded my wallet, said Chicago outplayed them. It's just trying to work the bugs out, and then I just watched a complete regression like I was watching from last year. So what did Vegas ended up getting this game at? Vegas ended up being -1 and a total of 41.
Really?
That's right.
God damn.
And on my podcast, and through ESPN radio and everybody else that asked me about the game, I said, stay away from the game. It's unproven, but you can bet the over in the game. And at least that part of the game went over.
Yahoo.
Good to see you, Harry, man. It's been a minute.
My brother,
Yeah.
it's been a long time. But, greetings and salutations from the west coast of Florida.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, nothing wrong with it, my brother.
A little bit of white hen on the rocks.
Hey. Hello.
So tell me, Harry, what
Yes,
is
sir.
it from that game that disappointed you a lot? What was it? Was it the defensive philosophy? Was it the offensive philosophy? Was it the players? Anything? What disappointed you the most in that game?
That's a great question. And there's so many different answers that I can give from it. I just don't really want to know where to start. And I don't want to seem like that guy that just wants to jump on a bandwagon when people are just going to kill this team. I still need to see more. After the game, I went ahead and got the tape. Matter of fact, it was today. I started watching it. I have a condensed version of any game in the National Football League that breaks it down into a total of 15 minutes. And I'll tell you what I did see. The offensive play calling. And I'm not here to jump on Fields yet. That'll come. You give me another week of this performance, and you're going to see me starting to get on the bandwagon. He's going to need to go. Okay. But at this point, I think people need to pump their brakes. Stop worrying about what Justin Fields is doing, because when you have less than 2 seconds to throw a football, that becomes a major problem.
Yep.
But the biggest deficiency, in my opinion, was the protection that they were going to make for the quarterback, and that offensive play calling was horrendous. Absolutely, positively horrendous. Justin Fields did fix something from last year, and I haven't heard any of the pundits talking about it yet. His delivery looks totally different than he did last year. He has fixed
Quicker.
it. It's
It's
not
quicker.
coming from here, going across to Colorado, and then releasing it. It's up here at the ear. Bang. He's making a read. He's making a throw, just like he did with Darnell Mooney. He sat in the pocket. He scanned the field, looked at A, B. There was C. He looked the safety off, and then he hit him in stride. But you know what? He had time.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. He had time. Now, do I think the offensive line is going to get better? I don't know. I can't answer that. I will tell you firsthand, I will give you more of my opinion this week when I'm watching them up close and live, when I'm sitting on the 50 in this drenched out heat that we're going to have down here in Florida. But I'm not anticipating anything different until I see something different. And by the way, guys, how is Tampa only a 3-point favorite in this game? I want you to think about that.
Oh no! If I allowed myself to bet Bears games, I'd be taking Tampa. Like Jesus, I'd take them to cover. But what I wonder is, like, it just seemed like there were a couple things the Bears were doing that ended up being positive plays on offense, where they're moving the ball decently well. I'm talking about those under center runs. I think Dante Foreman had a couple good ones, and then a couple of those quick release passes to Moore on the outside. And I just wonder, like, maybe this is my, Madden 2008 brain talking, but if you're doing something that works, why not stick with it? Like, they just didn't stick with anything that was working.
Well, that's because Green Bay kept adjusting. And I said, I seen the same thing that you're talking about. I had the same question, but I've had the privilege again of watching it. Green Bay played a lot of too high safeties in this game, and they were floating the linebackers up onto the line of scrimmage, and they were watching. They didn't have one, they had two people following anything that was going to be a draw play, or if it was going to have Justin Fields trying to step up in the pocket and forget his receivers and take off. So they took out everything in the beginning, meaning anything within 5 yards. They were forcing Luke Getsy to make play calls downfield, and they just weren't happening. They just couldn't get them off the line of scrimmage because their 4-man rush was better than the 5 that we were protecting with. That's the bottom line. The man had absolutely no time. He didn't.
So
I do want to talk conversely too, but go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, so Harry, by you, let's just put you as being the offensive coordinator. If you constantly see that and you identify what it is that Green Bay is throwing at you, what routes would you call to beat that?
You got to let Justin be Justin right now. Okay. Justin Fields needs to get back to what he was doing last year. And I know nobody wants to hear that. Hell, I don't even want to see that happen. I want to see him to become more of a pocket passer. But this organization did nothing to rectify it other than drafting a player from Tennessee to protect his front side. Okay. They don't run enough 12-man personnel where you're holding 2 tight ends in the game. But what routes would I be calling? A lot of pull routes, a little bit more draw routes, a little bit more 2 backs in the backfield with 2 tight end sets with 1 wide receiver. We're telling you we're going to run the football. Now stop it. That's what I want to see. Because when you get corners and safeties looking into the backfield all the time and they're having to protect that, all of a sudden you got 2 wide receivers running way downfield. When you're running that draw play with the play action, he's rolling out, safety's coming up, linebackers coming up, the whole middle of the field's completely open, and the guy's up there for 6. Those are the plays I'm going to be calling. Not a friggin' tight end coming up under center to take a snap. And then I knew for a fact when they ran Justin up the middle, I said, they ain't getting this. I'm sitting on the couch watching the game. I says, they just blew this game from those 2 plays. Those 2 plays alone. I mean, you showed no confidence in your offensive line at all to get 1 friggin' yard. I hope that answered your question. But what I would call is more running plays. Whether they work or not, you are going to force your defense to respect the running game to open up the play action.
Yeah. I texted my dad after that field sneak on 4th and 1, and I just said, it's amazing that we already lost the game on the first drive, because it was just like from that point on, I was like, we're just outcoached, we're outmatched. It's ridiculous.
Can't really say that because we did have 2 very good drives right after they had that touchdown drive.
Sure, but we know how it all went.
Then we stopped doing that.
Well, they had to stop doing that because that's when they started running the 2 high safeties and took that all away.
Yeah. But then you adjust to something new, not just dink dong.
That's called bring your safeties up, because instead of keeping your quarterback in the pocket getting killed, roll them out with the 2-guard pull to the right. I mean, whoever said you can't play basic football like they did in the mid-'80s? I mean, let me ask you a question, gentlemen. When Walter Payton, and nobody on this crew, with the exception, I think JB is old enough to remember Walter Payton, and okay, but they would run the ball 35 or 40 times a game. And there was 3 running plays for them. Peyton up the middle, Peyton left, Peyton right.
Yeah.
Okay. And still ran
a little bit of Matsui action.
Right. And you know what? Or Peyton catching the ball out of the backfield. When you can develop to impose your will on a defense, you're going to open up running plays. Look what Tampa did with Baker Mayfield, who was a 6-point underdog that went into Minnesota, who, by the way, Minnesota doesn't have a stout defense.
Nope.
But they had to respect that running game. And when they did, Tampa burned them with that play action pass. That is what Chicago should be doing. You have arguably the best running quarterback in the entire National Football League, including over Jackson down in Baltimore, and they're not utilizing them correctly. And I can't stand on a soapbox high enough and tell everybody they need to do something with this coaching staff. There has to be something a little bit better on play calling, because you know what? I don't believe in my heart this is Justin Fields' fault. But you give me a couple more games and I still see that same performance, then I'm going to have to start wondering, can he read a D?
It's tough because, and I know I always love watching Alex Brown, Lance Briggs, and all their post-game shows and everything like that, because they break down that stuff and I love it. It's like that again, and we said this all last season, that again is something you can't look at and be like, I can't evaluate Justin again. You just can't. Like, he had less pressure in that first game than he almost did all of last year. Like, it was absolutely insane. We do got another guest on, and we want to hear Big Z Force is on right now, and we want to hear referees' point of views on this stuff as well.
Absolutely.
So let's bring in Z.
Well, hey, boys, how's it going? It's good to be back in the clubhouse.
Yeah. You've been nagging me to return for months, man.
I'm gonna change my name. I'm gonna join Foulmouth C. I'm gonna change myself name to Foulmouth G, because I don't know if you know this right now. I'm wearing the Bears jersey backwards and inside out in protests right now.
I thought it was just a nice little design, but okay.
No, because this is. I mean, I'm sure you guys talked about this at the beginning of the show, but it's getting ridiculous. I've been watching this team since '82. So when I heard the Greek talk about Walter Payton, that was my dad's favorite player.
Same.
We're talking about a team that to come out and play like you did with Green Bay had nothing to lose in this game. If they would have gotten beaten by the Bears, it would have been like, oh, the Bears are riding the momentum. Everybody's coming in, new guys, fresh new season. This is great. Jordan Love, first-year quarterback. Nobody would have gave a shit. Okay, but you come out, it's the Green Bay Packers, and you do the same shit you did last year at 3-13. Same shit.
Hey guys,
I mean,
breaking news just came. I just seen it come across my teleprompter over here. It has been announced that Jordan Love will be a New York Jet in 2036.
That was a good one here.
That's usually where they go.
I had to say that, but hey, I don't mean to poo-poo on anybody's parade here, but I'm sorry. Did anybody jump off their couch when Aaron Rodgers got pulled off on a cart? Just asking for a friend.
I'm not going.
I felt bad. I really did. I felt bad.
For how long?
One positive thing I will say, and I'm going to shout out to my guy Mike Hughes on this one.
How about Leonard
Floyd against Aaron Rodgers in fantasy, and I had Stephon Diggs, and it was the decider of the winner right there. So it's safe to say I won.
See, my reaction, I was like, I was upset, but not because he was hurt. I was upset because I had been hoping for this to happen for the past 10 years. And the fact that it happened, when he was already.
But hold on, man. An ex-Bear facilitated it, just like an ex-Northwestern alum. Who the hell was that?
You beat me to that, Harry.
Corey Wooten. Corey Wooten did it to Brett Favre. So hey, man,
that's insane. And that's not to mention we had somebody do it to Aaron Rodgers when he broke his collarbone too.
Shane McClellan and Leonard Floyd, both overdrafts by the Bears, both played that same outside linebacker position. Both were semi-disappointing to different levels. Both went on to different teams and won Super Bowls, and both injured Aaron Rodgers. So Shane McClellan and Leonard Floyd could start a club, and they'd be the one.
I want to bring something up, and Gary and Harry, this is more for you all because I'm a little concerned, right? Here's why. Moving into next week, Devin White, Levante David, Antoine Winfield,
Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers going to the Vikings next year.
Vita Vea. I mean, am I looking at this defense like the Packers had a really good defense, but now I'm looking at an even better defense with a coach that blitzes.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
Correct. But
sometimes we can say too much.
With the coach that has balls, let's be real.
This is where Chicago. This is where Chicago might have a small advantage in this game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're a very fast football team, but they do struggle against quarterbacks that have a tendency that have tendencies of running.
Mobile quarterbacks. Okay.
Extremely. There's a difference between mobile and extremely mobile. And Justin Fields is very mobile. Okay. Their secondary is not as good as what people think, but their front seven, they can put pressure. And they have a tendency of over pursuing. And when you over pursue against someone like a Justin Fields, that could be a very long day for an opposing defense.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It'll happen once or twice. If Chicago burns Tampa a couple of times, you will see a lot less blitzes, and that will actually be in favor for Tampa. But Todd Bowles, he's got a propensity of just
he did
setting
that
it all
with
up.
the Jets. Blitz.
Here's the thing, JB. Any defense that plays against the Chicago, sorry, Frank. Any defense that plays against Chicago Bears, if the offensive line allows the defense to run up the field, Justin Fields isn't going to do anything. Okay, these defenses are just teeing off on the offensive line and know that Luke Getsy, for some reason, don't know where his testicles are, but the Greek said, roll Justin Fields out of the pocket and move the defense side to side. A lot harder to cover people side to side than it is running north and south when you're playing defense.
This is true.
Bro, I'm going to tell you something.
Right?
And they also are susceptible to wheel routes.
Yeah.
They always have been. This Tampa defense is so susceptible to wheel
good thing
routes.
we have 4 running backs.
And this is the thing. When we're saying blitz, and that's exactly what the Packers did to us, blitz us like crazy. No slants, no quick passes, hardly any screens. You do that shit when they blitz.
But Frank, aren't you happy that they ran a Cole Kmet up the middle for a direct snap. I mean, come on.
Come on.
That
Right there, that was the game right there. Yeah.
Hey, Big Stiffy.
I'm telling you, it was the game. It was the game right there.
That was the game right there. Absolutely, totally agree. Whoever said that. That play right there set the tone. The Bears were going to shit the bed.
Like I said,
and the worst thing about that was that is exactly the exact play. Matt Nagy lost the game for the fucking Chiefs on Thursday. And then you run it on the first drive.
No, that's not the exact
play. It was the exact play.
That's not the exact play. He did some dumbass reverse.
It was a tight end type move, and it
wasn't. How about 4th and 25?
What? Yeah. No, well, before that.
4th and 25. Hold on. And Matt Nagy goes for it. I'm like, what? Yeah. And you know what's really killing me?
I actually agreed with that decision.
He should have caught the ball.
Well, right, but if you remember,
it was open.
Kadarius Toney dropped the ball right before the 30, which would have at least given them a field goal in the win. Wide open, too.
Yep. I remember watching that. Like he
had a bad game.
I agreed with it. Was Andy Reid's decision to go for it, not Nagy's. It was like Andy Reid makes those 4th down decisions, and I actually agreed with it, and it almost worked because at that point you're just trying to get the ball back from the Lions. Field position is less important, but that this is a Bears podcast, right? I want to talk about the defense at some point because that pass rush and Eberflus's lack of testicles was very concerning.
Wait, what do you want to talk about?
You mean the Indianapolis South? I mean, it's getting ridiculous. Everybody he's brought over, I'm sorry, I'm not unimpressed. Poles should have spent money on either the big dog from Kansas City or got Young from Young from Washington.
Look,
we need a pass rusher.
I went back. I watched film from Jordan Love's first career start against the Chiefs. And I noticed whenever the Chiefs would blitz and play, either a some sort of cover 1 or like obviously cover 0, Love was rattled and he was pressured and he was off his rhythm and he was throwing bad passes and they were getting off the field. And I know the Bears don't have like that Chris Jones figure, but I was appalled that they didn't even entertain the idea of blitzing except for that one Kyler Gordon blitz, which worked. It just I don't understand.
You can't compare the two, to be honest, because 1, that was his first start. 2, you talking about Steve Spagnuolo, who's more of a press man coverage defensive coordinator, and he doesn't blitz a lot either.
Okay, but I don't care about that. Like I understand.
You have to care about it because
I understand why it's like comparing apples and typewriters. But my point is that it's
you have to
apples and oranges are similar. Like you compare them, but it's like, but no.
The thing is,
being, like they didn't. You got to try to bring pressure on the guy. Like, I mean, we're not facing Aaron Rodgers, right? It's not, some Hall of Fame quarterback who could just it's a guy who excels when he could just sit back in the pocket and pick apart his zone. It's like, you're not even going to try to overwhelm the defensive offensive line.
I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this honestly. What do you know? And I'm not talking about Eberflus because he did have a top 10 defense with a lot of turnovers when he was with the Colts. But what do you know about that defense as far as blitzing and an Allen Williams-based defense under Leslie Frazier in Minnesota?
Well, I understand that the general concept of that defense is you need to get pressure with your front 4.
And they get coverage sacks. We had 6 pressures the whole game, 6, and 1 sack right before the end of the first half.
I know, but you got to be able to be adaptable on defense. Like even when the Bears ran that Tampa 2 with Lovie Smith, and I know we recently talked about this, JB. There were games where they would send Hillenmeyer almost every play. Like they would send either Briggs or Urlacher. At least they would clog the A gap. They would always do like that. Like even in the Super Bowl against the Colts, where the defense didn't play great or horribly, like they filled that A gap area, and occasionally Briggs or Urlacher would go, and it's just like. And I know we don't have Briggs or Urlacher on this defense, but the point I'm making is you got to at least. You can't just run the same zone every single time against a guy who's showing that he could beat it. It felt like they got every 3rd down. They were converting every 3rd down, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8.
9 of 17 on 3rd down, I believe it was.
It was 9 of 16, yes.
When I was watching the film and the tape on this game, everybody's got a point here, especially when it comes to the defense. This is what you're going to get with this year for this defense. I am telling you, and I'm going to repeat it again. Their linebacking core and their secondary is top 8. Listen to me. And I know what we watched. The problem is the pass rush. You're talking about why aren't they filling the A gap? You can't at this point because the middle of the field is going to be completely wide open. You're asking your safeties to do not 2 positions, but 3 positions at that time. And if you can't get proper pressure, there are no such thing as coverage sacks. I'm 57 years old. If I had that much time on offense to go against that Bears defense, I'm going to find a spot in the zone somewhere and to be able to catch a pass.
Even Rodgers, the one Achilles, can beat the
correct.
Bears.
Just like to me,
But let me be really clear when I say this. Jordan Love is not going to the Pro Bowl this year. And I'm not saying that because that young man had a decent ball game. He is really, truly not that good of a quarterback.
Thank you.
If you line these 2 teams up tomorrow, I am telling you now, this Bears team would show up a little bit in a different way. Only if the coaching staff got their head out of their ass and decided that they want to call a different game plan. Because I seriously doubt that Green Bay is going to do what they did in this game the following time they're going to go to play each other. They will have to create a little bit more of a pass rush. Go ahead. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me talk.
Well, thank you.
Let me hear what G got to say. Go ahead, G.
I think also is I know they wanted this offseason and during training camp to make Justin Fields a pocket passer, right? Okay. But again, when you have an offensive coordinator who does not want to adjust in game, it was real simple adjustments. This wasn't hard what the Packers were doing. Okay. He was getting pressure, roll his ass out. And it's kind of funny when you have a tight end and you throw to him when you're down 24 points. Finally, you're throwing the ball to the guy. You can't get 3 yards with Kmet, Chase Claypool. These guys can't. You're telling me these guys weren't open? I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that any defense. And why does every other team in the NFL, when I watch games, especially yesterday with Buffalo and the Jets, why would do better and Green Bay run crossing patterns? Why can't we do it?
Thank you.
Why?
Well,
how many more times you want to throw a bubble screen?
Exactly.
I'm realizing,
get your receivers blown up by throwing those.
How many more? The first bubble screen worked. The second one worked, but after that, they just kept blowing them up. How many more bubble screens you want to work on? And you know what? Number 10 is on the milk carton. I'm not even going to say Clay's. You know what I'm talking about? Pool. Okay.
Well,
where the hell was he?
He was my pick to click this year. He was my intangible.
So was mine.
How'd that work out?
He was a guy. He was a middle of the field guy to get those first downs for you.
When Darnell Mooney took on not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 times, he's running up the middle as a slot receiver, taking on a middle linebacker. You're going to get that kid killed.
Yes.
Yeah, but also, I just got to say, God bless Darnell Mooney too, because he's one of the few Chicago Bears who always leaves it on the field. You know,
he's still in an ice tub. He got blown up on 4 plays. They kept calling him running up the middle on a little wide on the wide receiver screens, and he's coming up the middle, and the guy was getting absolutely clocked while Claypool's doing this.
Yeah, I just hope Mooney gets paid by someone if it's not us, because he's a.
I think it will be because I don't see Chase Claypool.
Where you come from all of a sudden?
Did I sneak back in on you? Well, before we get to the next topic, I hopped off because I thought of something that I wanted to put on the show and I totally forgot. And we're having this conversation right now, so I wanted to put it in. So this is what we're looking at. Whenever we're in the locker room in the practices before the season, you know, and Getsy's talking to Fields about running the offense.
Come on, everybody. All right, this is it. Okay? This is the play. Okay, the quarterback. 2 receivers lined up to the left, 1 to the right. There's a flanker lined up to the left, behind the quarterback. Okay. He gives the ball. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get the ball. The receiver goes all the way over there to the left. Once the quarterback has the ball, he fakes to the left. No, he fakes to the right. He doesn't fake. He thinks about fake. He pretends to fake. I don't know where I am. I can't breathe. Oh, this room is getting smaller. I have to sit down. Hang on here. Hey, come on.
That was after the first series when they ran.
Look, that was the first series, right? Like
that was the whole fucking game.
I feel like that's how 90% of Matt Nagy's like offensive game plan meetings went. Just
like
with his takes. I don't
like,
know where I am.
The fact that the Water Boy was literally playing right after that Bears game just made it perfect. Reading the book for dummies. You know, that is Getsy right now running an offense.
Here's what I want to bring up, guys. and we talk about comfortability in the offseason, right? Clearly, he's way more comfortable with Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet than he is with anybody. Everybody's talking about how good him and DJ Moore look in off seasons, one-on-ones, 7-on-7s. We all know, like Tom Waddle used to say, 7-on-7s don't mean shit unless the line is in front of you. And that's somebody who gave his life, brain, blood, sweat, and tears for the Bears. So I'm going to listen to what Tommy Waddle got to say, right? Then you look at the stats, and then you say, well, damn, the man did throw the ball 37 times, 7 targets to Mooney, 7 to Kmet, 5 to Herbert, 7 to Rashawn Johnson, 2 to Moore, 2 to Scott, 2 to Claypool. I got a problem with that. He just became a check down Charlie.
That's all he did. What little play they actually had in the preseason is exactly what it was. Everybody went crazy when he went 3 for 3 for 2 touchdowns and $140, and I'm like, he never threw the ball more than 5 yards.
And we all know
come out the first play
ball beyond 5 yards.
To be fair, the reason why I was more hyped about that, and it wasn't about Fields as much as it was about, like, we were last in the league in yards after catch last season, and it was just nice to see them finally get some yards after the catch. And it just feels like, you know, this game, there was absolutely no yak to be found anywhere once again.
But Z, again, it was preseason. And you know what? There's another thing that a lot of people aren't talking about. Justin Fields didn't really get a lot of reps in the preseason. And this could be
a reason. Yeah. Like
a reason why they played like this. Okay. Could have got wore out in the third quarter, but he did have the one drive in the third quarter that looked pretty decent. But you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna feel a little bit different after this game. I'm gonna see what's going on. I think there's a reason why the game is only -3, and I want you to think about this.
It's because of Baker. You know that.
But Baker was balling. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Baker was okay, Harry. He only had like a
Did you see what Baker did when he had to get a first down? When he
lowered his shoulder,
and he pancaked the guy.
But Baker got a lot of this. Baker's
a head case, bro.
My hot take is that Baker's the closest thing we've seen to Jim McMahon.
You know what? That is an excellent comparison, especially for attitudes like that. I love that comparison.
I don't know if I can compare Jim McMahon to Baker.
No. I just said for personalities.
Attitude-wise, and the way that, like, people like playing with Baker just like they like playing with McNabb, because they have, like, both guys have like this. I don't want to say alpha because it feels like a weird word, but they have like this. You know, they have that dog in them. That's
bro. Is that a Grogu?
Yeah, where you been, Harry? We have Grogu on every show.
That's Grogu. That's my boy right there, man. Let me see Grogu.
Yeah, he's been up here chilling all day.
Can he play defense?
He's personally a host on this show.
But I want to.
Listen,
I've seen Grogu, but I've never seen his eyes roll up and down, bro. That's like freaking me out. I love that.
You just took my next line back out of my sense.
Baker Mayfield's going to throw for 300 yards if we don't get to the quarterback. Simple as that. And if we don't get to the quarterback, you know what? I hate to see what Mahomes is going to do to us.
You got Godwin and you have Blake Evans, who, by the way, they don't want to pay. Let me go ahead and just write that out there. Nine consecutive seasons for 1,000 yards on Mike Evans.
We can have the 4 best receivers in the NFL. If we don't have an offensive coordinator who doesn't know what the hell he's doing and take a shot downfield. And you know what? If you open up the game and throw the ball 2 times down the field for 50 yards, I don't have a problem with that. That means you're challenging the defense to see what they do. You're saying, fuck you, Green Bay. We're coming right after you. This little pussy handoff to Cole Kmet and a Cole Kmet quarterback sneak, and then do it again with Justin Fields? You got to be kidding me.
Who on this panel
worst thing about
we had that one toss play last year.
We talked about this earlier.
Hold on, you guys are talking over each other.
We talked about this earlier.
I appreciate it. Go ahead, Easy.
Go ahead, Easy. You want to go first? Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you know, I remember this. Like, we had this toss play last year that we used to run a lot behind Blazing Game to Herbert. You know, and I feel like we were able to get something going with the run game in a few games last year when they would line up under center with the fullback and they'd either run some sort of toss play, I think they had a counter, and they had, like, you know, a good bit of power too. And it's just like, I've beaten this dead horse. I just don't understand for the life of me why that isn't, like, a big part of the game plan. when we go against a team like Green Bay, who's going to take away those, that horizontal game. So it's not really a question. It's just like,
well, it kind of leads into the same thing that I was thinking too. I mean, you brought up the same person I was going to bring up too. You brought in a fullback. We were all so happy that the Bears brought in a fullback in Blasingame, but you don't fucking use him in a 3rd and 1, and then a 4th.
You use him as a receiver.
You're not going to give him the ball to give you that yard. I trust him to get the ball at just give him a fullback right up the middle. I'd rather do that for a yard. And if you're not going to do that, let him be your lead fucking blocker, and you put our beast from Texas, who was the only one who had a good game on Sunday. I
agree.
Fuck.
He's a Greek. Let me ask you a question, or JB. You want to take this one? So remember when Rashawn Johnson just ran over the dude, got that big game? Then we had another big game. And then, so you had 2 big runs, right? There's where you set up the play action pass. What does this dickhead do? He gives the ball handoff again, a 3rd time. That's what I'm talking about. This is simple football. We're not talking about,
and by the way, on that play, on that 3rd play where they ran the ball, there wasn't a single player in the secondary that didn't peek into the backfield.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry, that did not turn around. They completely looked into the backfield. Nobody was turning around on a receiver. There were two receivers that were 10 yards behind them, and they knew that Chicago was going to run the football. By the way, I did watch that. Great point, by the way. Anybody on this panel not like to make money? Anybody?
No, I work for free.
I just have a question for everybody.
I like to work for nothing.
How many points do you think the Buccaneers will score in this game, honestly?
28.
Go ahead. Go around the horn.
27. I'm going to go 27.
How about Z? How about you, Z?
28.
I'm going to go with a weird number. I think they're going to get 32.
How about you, Falmousi?
They might score 30-something points. Because.
How about you, JB?
I'm around 27, 28.
Okay, if I told you the over-under is 41 and 41.5, who in the world is not betting the over in this game?
Mash it. Mash the over.
Wait, why is it so low?
Because they think Chicago is going to come out and play defense. It's going to be really hot. And by the way, it's Florida, 1 o'clock game. It's going to be 110 on the field, and it's going to rain.
Hope we wear white.
I mean, I hope it does rain because
rain might play a factor.
Run passes anyway. So.
Well, we fucking win in the rain for some.
Yeah, last year against the Niners. Yeah,
and I'm gonna give a huge shout out in the chat to Jeremy Bauman, who just sent me this to just prove our points on what we're looking at. Look at that shit. Every freaking lineman got beat on that play. At least you're gonna give Darnell Wright some credit because he kept them to the outside.
Yeah, no.
But the other
by the way, that was supposed to be a screenplay to the right.
Wait, was that the tight end screenplay?
Yep, that was the tight end screen.
That was supposed to be a screenplay to the right where they're supposed to let the entire offensive line. But hey, guys,
none of them turned around to block.
Take a look behind the defensive line. If you notice the guy standing up there on the left,
he's like a cigar store.
No, he's just sitting there. There's no motion. His feet are together because he knows.
This guy right here at the very, very top of the screen.
At the very top.
Yeah.
And they were leaving the middle of the field open because it was already blowing up. It was actually going to the right. That was the screenplay. That wasn't the downfield pass, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the one where running back screen that was coming.
Is that the one that Kenny Clark just sniffed out and was like, "Yeah, you're really going to try this on me?"
Yep. After they beat everybody, they still turned around and took down the like.
You know why? Because Kenny Clark is good at football, and it almost feels like if I was Kenny Clark, I would be insulted by the fact that an offense thinks we're going to bite on all these screens the entire.
Just
game.
Out of curiosity, can you go back to that play?
Mm-hmm.
Easy. I got a question for you too when we're done.
Because I have a question on there. Anybody want to tell me where the running backs are? Anybody want to tell me where the fullback is or the tight end actually helping the block?
Probably
is he behind? Is he behind?
That's why I said if it was the tight end screen, then we know the running backs are out as blockers.
Well, is it the running back right behind that defensive lineman, that tackle?
Is he right next to the guy who's grinding on that one defensive player?
No, that's 5 linemen, dude.
There's your 5 offensive linemen.
Braxton.
That is 5. My God.
That's Nate Davis right here.
That's Lucas Patrick.
That's Lucas Patrick in the top of the point. and that's Darnell Wright. That's all.
My other question is why isn't he pulling the ball down and taking off to the right? Because if you notice, he's got 25 yards sitting right there.
Yep.
Well, I guess.
But I do love the form now. Look where the football is up by his ear. Look where the left foot is pointed. But too bad it went nowhere. Okay, that's great form. Yeah. But really?
Well, I don't know about 52's momentum. Like he could be in the process of closing that gap like immediately. But still, yeah, I'd like to see him run it. It's hard.
I got a question, easy, real quick. So Bears Edwards got smoked on that quick slant for a touchdown on 4th down. You mean to tell me that the Green Bay linebackers are better than our linebackers, and we can't run a quick slant like that? The simplicity of Green Bay's offense that smoked this defense that's supposed to be improved is embarrassing, and it goes to the organization. And I'm starting with the old lady and her kid, period. They need to go. I'm sorry. She needs to go gently into the good night. He needs to go get his money, take off. We need a new ownership here in Chicago. It's ridiculous.
Is there a
Sports
question?
in Chicago? So, well, I'm saying is, are you thinking that the Green Bay linebackers are better than our linebackers?
Not this year.
No, I do not.
No shot.
Right.
But I think the defensive coordinator is better at putting their people in position.
The thing is this. What's his name? Edmonds supposed to be your best coverage linebacker.
He got smoked.
Why the fuck wasn't he?
Actually, Edmonds.
He was completely. Edmonds got completely blasted on one play, but again, he didn't play much in the preseason. Can't put too much water in your glass watching this football.
Also,
game.
we have to remember, like, these guys would not be getting smoked as much if we were able to do what the principles of this defense state and get to the quarterback with our 4 down linemen. Like, that's really.
So again, do you blame Allen Williams? Do you blame Eberflus? Or do you blame Poles for not getting somebody who can get pressure?
Yes.
Well, first they got one player to get pressure, but
I'm with Z-Force.
He got 1 sack in a play that
it was a
one coverage sack.
That doesn't even count as a sack.
Yeah, one coverage
sack. The thing is this.
I blame Virginia.
You come at Poles about it, but who's actually out there for him to really sign?
He doesn't. I mean, unless he makes a trade where he needs, because he was going after Houston.
Too much.
He was going after a few people. Yeah. Everybody wants one of our first-round picks, and he is not willing to give up a first-round pick.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I said it before. Easy, me and you talked about it. I would have gone after Deron Payne, even with them doing the franchise tender.
Amen.
I would love for them to go after Payne.
That's what we need.
It's a little hard to gauge.
Who said that they didn't? But the minute they put that franchise in, it's over with.
Mm-hmm.
You can match it. You can match it. You can match
it. No, once they tag it, it's over with.
Is Payne the one who makes that defensive line go, or is it like? I mean, Sweat's pretty damn good. That Montez Sweat
it's
guy.
I'm gonna take Payne over Montez Sweat. And I like Montez Sweat. He would fit this defense a little bit better, and whoever you put at the left defensive end position, they would automatically become stars. Now you're going to free up them linebackers to cover your gaps that you were alluding to earlier, to be able to get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. Where was Jack Sanborn in this game? He did have 4 because I couldn't. It looked like someone. It looked like he was on the back of a milk cart.
He split freaking.
He played, but remember they do see that, and that's what I was trying to tell you guys at the beginning of the season. All this Jack Sanborn love is not going to work on this defense because they're going to be in nickel 60 to 65% of the time.
Exactly.
Well, are they going to be in nickel now? I'm not going to bring that up now because, like,
well, what was his name? Blackwell came in for Kyler and played, but
yeah,
I mean, again. Here's the thing, guys, and we can beat this dead horse until it changes colors, and we know it's not going to. When after a certain period of time, when you saw that the pressure was not getting there, and Jordan Love literally had 4 and 5 seconds to throw the ball, you knew then that Eberflus or Allen Williams needed to change their scheme. This was when the game was not out of hand yet.
Yes.
They didn't do that. I saw Javon Dexter get in and do the same thing Justin Jones did in. They looked at the same person, right? They
welcome, like Eduardo. Welcome.
And there was no, I mean, I'm not saying he was all world, but don't you kind of miss Travis Gibson? At least he had a motor.
That's who I was gonna bring up right there. If I'm gonna blame something on Poles right now, because we can all sit here and we could agree Poles did a lot this offseason to improve this roster. May not have showed too much in week 1, but he did.
And they made moves I like too.
I
I was not happy, and I think most of the people on here were not happy when we saw what Travis Gibson did in the preseason, and you couldn't even give him a roster spot.
But this what I'll say about the Travis Gibson.
He didn't want to be here, man.
One, he didn't, like you said, he didn't want to be here. He requested a trade. But two, also, you got to also remember, Travis Gibson was doing that against third and fourth string guys.
Yep.
He wasn't going against.
Yeah, because they wouldn't play. Remember, he complained because they wouldn't play him.
That last preseason game, he should have been with.
He was doing it against the third and fourth string guys. I don't know.
What was it about Green Bay, about their offense that scared you on that day? Like, if you're a defensive coordinator and you're like, okay, Christian Watson's hurt, the next best receiver is Romeo Doubs, 4th-round pick from Nevada, and it's like, you got Aaron Jones, obviously a pretty good running back, but like, what? Like, there's no one that scares you in terms of like blowing the top off the defense. So why are we so scared to let experienced guys like Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson play a little one-on-one with some of these guys and, send 5 or 6 people after the quarterback?
Well, Eddie Jackson
make him uncomfortable.
I
have
will
to
tell
make
you
him
this.
uncomfortable.
I let me interject here. You will see a difference in this defense in the next coming weeks, and I'm going to show you what you're going to see. Whether it's going to help, I have no idea. But they have established, and everybody ascertained that they're not going to develop pressure with their 4-man front. They're just not good enough. I promise you, Eberflus will, and who is not known for blitzing, they're going to have to create some pressure, like they did with Kyler Gordon. You will see a lot more linebacker blitzes. You're going to see a lot more 5-man defensive fronts. You're going to see a lot of confusion. You're not going to see a basic 4-3. You're going to see a hybrid coming up like they did last year.
That's what we're hoping.
They have improved defensively with their players versus last year, and they have those players that can play those hybrid positions. Because I'm telling you now, they're not stupid. These are coaches in the National Football League. They may be morons in particular games, but they're watching the same tape I'm watching, and I'm telling you, you are not going to give a quarterback. JB, you could have sat behind that offensive line for Green Bay yesterday and completed probably 40 or 50% of your passes, and you haven't thrown a football in how many years? They are not going to let that happen again. You're going to see a lot more blitzing from this Bears team. It's the only way they're going to get pressure.
Just so you're aware, Harry, Alan Williams does not blitz. He's not
going to have to.
Blitz.
He's going to have to adjust, or we're going to see more of the same.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. But I mean, I'm just saying, Alan Williams might be that selfish.
Hold on. We got too many people trying to talk at once. JB,
I don't
go ahead and
think
get it in.
This is what I see. And Harry, you're 100% spot on right. But who are they going to blitz? Is it going to be Sanborn? Because you can't stay in the nickel now that Kyler Gordon is hurt for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Brisker.
You can't count on him. Blackwell is just kind of in the sauce, right? Is it going to be Noah Sewell? Do we see Noah Sewell in more 5-man front? Do they bring him down as an edge rusher now? Noah Sewell is an unknown. What we do know is DeMarcus Walker, nothing. Justin Jones, nothing. Andrew Billings, nothing. Pickens and Dexter, what did we really expect from them, considering they really didn't play much, 1. And 2, all they're supposed to do is help stop the run, which I'll say this. I won't say that the Bears stopped the run, but it looked a little bit better than last year, right? They only gave up 92 yards. When last year, I think they gave up over 100 per game.
You made a very, very good point. If you blitz without success and you get burned, even the illusion of a blitz is going to release it's going to release one of the 4 down linemen. They are going to have more success.
More pressure.
Exactly.
Correct. So you asked where the pressure is going to come from. It's going to come from your corners, because D coordinators that don't typically like the blitz don't blitz up the middle. They will send corners in, like you did see with Kyler Gordon. You will see a lot more of that, because then the safeties like an Eddie Jack's going to actually have to play center field and get up on the line of scrimmage and pick up the slot receiver. You're going to see a lot of differences. They do have a lot of wrinkles. You did see them attempt and give the illusion they were going to blitz, but they didn't. Like I said, I just got done watching this game tape again, and I was like, why aren't they sending them? Why aren't they sending them? And why aren't they sending them? This is prime opportunity. They're not doing it.
Harry, you got a lot more. You got a lot more faith than I do for next week. That's for sure.
If they're gonna, if I see them give up another 3rd and 10, which I know I will, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah.
Like the amount of 3rd and 12, the first 3rd and 13 of the game, where it's just like, again, this guy's making his 2nd career start. I know he's been playing for a while, like in practice, and I know he's done scout team forever, but like, in a game situation on the road, it felt like we were trying to make things as easy for him as possible, which is not a good strategy at all, obviously.
Anybody impressed with this kid Stevenson from the U?
I was impressed with that hit. I thought when he made, made that hit in the backfield, JB, when he knocked the guy. I was like, oh, this is great. Now they're finally coming back and starting to hit. And then what happens the next two plays?
Well, you know the scouting report on him. Well, one of the things about him coming into the draft was that he was a very good press man corner, but he wasn't a good tackler. Like, he was scared to tackle.
You can get in his head, by the way. I watched this young man at the U play a lot.
Didn't he get a penalty? I think he got a fucking penalty, didn't he?
Yeah, yes, he did. And I'm going to tell you another thing. He's also really good for the morale. You want to talk about someone that can really step it up? He ain't going to let you mess around with him. He reminds me of a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson type of player. And I promise you, by year 2, he will be a Pro Bowl player, this kid. That's the skill set from the Bears got a diamond in the rough. When I heard his name getting called, I'm like, oh, man, you have no clue what you're getting up there. He's a little bit of a head case.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
Hopefully he'll get into that. I'd rather have a head case than a little vagina out there.
It's much. You need a little head case. You need a guy who's a little bit twisted. At least
he's twisted, all right. And you put him with Jaquan Brisker? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, no, Brisker, Tyree. Like, it feels like what the Bears are trying to do is emulate kind of what Seattle's done to get success in the past on defense. And just really build up that secondary. I know it's a different, they did more cover 3 and we're cover 2, I guess. But, just in terms of where you want, your skill secondary positions to be like really good. I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I
No,
on the right track?
You're not wrong. But again, this defense is not going to be this good this year. They're going to have to create pressure because they're going to have to blitz. That defensive line is atrocious. The end.
It's bad.
It's horrible that they didn't address it with the way they should have this year, because their linebacker and their secondaries are just absolutely incredible. And
all those first-round picks that you're going to stockpile are going to be nothing if you have an offensive coordinator who does not want to adjust and have a game plan that can actually scare some people. I mean, we got lucky in 2018 to go to the playoffs with Trubisky, as far as I'm concerned. If we don't make driven. If we don't make the playoffs, I mean, how far has it been since we've been in the playoffs? And when I did my season preview on my page, it was like, what are they playing? The Chiefs, the Vikings, and the Packers in the first 6 games. I had them 3-3. I think they're going to be 2-4, 1-5 at worst in the first 6 games. That's my opinion.
Like I said, it's the first game of the season. I don't want to overreact on it. I really don't. I'm hoping that this coaching staff is smart enough to make the proper adjustments. But when you kind of think about it, what are you thinking as Matt Eberflus? Me, if I'm Matt Eberflus, I'm taking over that fucking defense. Alan Williams got one more time to show me that he don't know what the fuck he's doing out there, and I'm taking that over.
To fire Williams and bring
right now, your coordinators are going to get your ass fired.
Yeah.
From your offensive lineman, your offensive line coach, to your fucking defensive coordinator, to your fucking offensive coordinator. They're going to get your ass fired.
Hey, Chris, let me let you in on a little secret. Alan Williams is running Eberflus's defense.
He is.
I know, and that's exactly why I will sit up there and take that shit over from him.
But Eberflus
was the defensive backs coach while Eberflus was the DC. So he's running the exact same defense Eberflus would run. The problem is they don't have the playmaking potential on the front line. Yeah. There is no what's my man named Rucker. They're not here. Okay.
Ooh,
I mean, that's fine, but at the end of the day, I'm still a fucking defensive coach. I don't give a fuck if I don't have the players. That's what's part of coaching, to fucking adapt. So what the fuck I'm going to do is I'm going to fucking adapt. Second of all, Jones, your ass is out. Motherfucker, you ain't even show up on the stat line.
Wait, remember when Matt Nagy said
I'll play both rookies. I don't give a fuck. Give me somebody in there in that 3-tech that's going to get somewhat of pressure.
Remember when Matt Nagy? Okay.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. I understand he's running Eberflus's defense, but even when Eberflus was the DC, when he had to, he adjusted and he sent those blitzes. Trust me when I tell you, Chris, I think you're dead on, whether you knew this or not, but you're going to see a lot more what Eberflus did down in Indianapolis. Look, I'm not giving up on this coaching staff. And
Coming in hot again.
people are going to make mistakes. And yes, I can look at my glass. Either I got half a drink or I got a full drink or I got no drink left. Right now I'm in the middle. And the reason why I'm in the middle is because this team didn't play their starters. It was a mistake in the preseason. I don't know why they thought that they were a team that didn't have to play their starters in the preseason. I mean, for God's sakes, they won 3 ball games, but everybody's resting their morals on saying, well, wait a minute. They lost 7 games by 1 possession. I don't give a shit. That means you still lost 7 games.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The Minnesota Vikings won how many games last year by 1 possession? Anybody want to take a guess at this?
It was like 8 or 9.
Okay. And if they lost those games, they would have had the same record as the Bears. That's the facts.
It's just when Matt Nagy once said, like, I didn't come here to run the I formation, it feels a little bit like the opposite thing is going on.
God, I could go the rest of my life without ever hearing that guy's name come through my headset.
No,
we have a swear jar when we hear that guy's name. But we haven't said it in a while.
But the point being, it's just like this constant, like this ego that infiltrates the coaching staff of I'm going to do it my way. Whereas, your way is not the best way to help the football team win. And that's just really what I'm.
Do you know who was worse than a Matt Nagy? Anybody want to take a stroll down memory lane? Go a couple years back.
Mark
JB, who was it?
Mark
Oh
Trestman.
my God!
Mark Trestman had one good year though.
Mark Trestman, yeah, that's when Matt Forte caught 110 balls.
Yeah.
There's a problem when you're
And
running
we had
that
one
year
year
before.
When Josh McCown was the quarterback was the year that was good.
Hold on, my wife, and Lord forgive me, and she can break down game tape. She loves football, guys. Y'all will be jealous if you ever meet my wife. Trust me. She sits there and she goes, "Really?
Guy.
What are they doing? How come they're only running a single high safety up there? What? There's no press. I mean, this is the way she is watching the game. But when first time she seen Mark Trestman, she goes, "The hell are they doing in Chicago? They hired a freaking guy that looks like a looks like a pedophile." No. My wife says this guy looks like a pedophile. What are they doing? They can't show this guy's picture.
Drives an ice cream truck.
Yeah. He was a very ideal.
Anybody remember the Bozo Circus show?
Yeah.
Okay. He was Bozo without the uniform. That's Bozo.
Or what's his name? Wizzo. Wizzo, right?
Wizzo.
Yeah,
Wizzo.
You know what? I'm going to piggyback on Foul Mount C. I agree with him. Now, the reason here's a situation that worked with the Bears when Ditka and Ryan were together. They hated each other, and Mike Ditka ran the offense, and Buddy Ryan ran the defense, and they said fuck off to each other, and they dominated in the 80s. So you're right. I mean, that right then and there, where you have 2 coaches who don't like each other, and Buddy wants to do his thing, and Mike wants to do his thing, and the GM at the time, I think, was Greg, help me out. Who was the GM?
Phillips, I believe it was.
No,
it wasn't Vince.
Vince Tobin.
Vince Tobin. No, it wasn't Tobin. Vince Tobin came after.
Oh God. Okay. Anyway, I mean the GM.
Sorry about that.
The GM at that time knew that it was the right combination.
Oh, so no, they didn't have a GM at that time. That's what it was. Vince Tobin, I thought, was their first GM, right?
Jerry Vinisi.
Yeah, Vincent Vinisi. There you go.
Yeah, Jerry Vinisi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, again, when Foul Mouth C says, I think Alan Williams is on the hot seat as far as I'm concerned. And fire his ass, maybe bring Lovey back in to run a defense.
Well, look, I'd be down, but there's no way Lovey comes in for.
Yeah, he won't take it.
You want to take a job that's less than what he already had, right?
Look,
Lovey.
Hold on.
Anyway, Lovey ain't coming
what
back.
What makes you think that Lovey wouldn't take a job?
No, hold
what
on,
makes
because
you think that he wouldn't.
I'll tell you why, and I know this firsthand. Lovey Smith is getting paid. I can't tell you how I know this. He's not interested in coming back.
Yeah.
However, when his contract is up, he can come back. This, trust me when I tell you, has already been talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to come to fruition anytime soon.
Right. I figured he's probably getting some sort of, this might be the wrong word, but some sort of severance from Houston, no?
No, he's getting paid.
He's still under contract for 2 more years.
He's still getting, just like who was the D coordinator that played for who was with San Francisco? He went to Denver. He was with Chicago's D coordinator. Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio, trust me when I tell you, he didn't. The reason why he didn't come back for a couple of years is because he was still getting paid. And this came from a particular head coach that we just particularly talked about when we had a conversation. He had zero interest coming back. He's like, why the hell do I want to come back? I'm making $6 million a year doing nothing. Let me repeat it. 6 large.
doing
nothing.
Man, I want to
Watching the
make $6
games and
million
learning.
to do nothing. That
Okay.
sounds great.
And that's
By the way,
bottom
Fangio
line.
had a really great blitz call at the end of the game against the Chargers the other day to get Herbert. Just want to shout out former Bear.
I just
love Fangio. What I wouldn't do for Fangio. Remember when we had two head coaches on this team between John Fox and Vic Fangio?
Well,
I thought it should have been the other way around.
Left, we were going to give Fangio the head coaching job.
I like John Fox. That's my toxic trait is that I like John Fox.
I got a question for you guys.
Fox wasn't bad though.
No, he was just given a shit team to run.
Yeah,
I got a question for the panel. Give me your answers on this one. Does Eberflus get a pass do-over this year and one more year before he on the hot seat or goes, or is this year,
I think it depends on how the year goes, I guess.
I want to go last.
All right. Go ahead, Frank. Give us your.
I'll go second to last.
if we still finish 500 or a game below 500, he's good for next year too. But I think it's all still, and I know we can blame the offensive coordinators on this as well, which we have the right to, absolutely. But it all depends on Justin Fields' progression. Eberflus should be getting blamed for that too, not just the offensive coordinator. So if Justin Fields still struggles again this year, and then we all of a sudden go out and get a brand new quarterback next year, Eberflus ain't going to be here either.
All right, easy.
Yeah, I'm with Frank. I don't have much else to add, but yeah, I think 7 wins is where I draw the line. But also, it's arbitrary. Foul?
I don't think if they get 5 wins or less, his ass is out the door. It's just that fucking simple. You had opportunities. Granted, last year was kind of shitty. It was, but this year, you got to also remember, supposedly management has gone and gave Ryan Poles full authority to do whatever the fuck it is that he wants. That means even firing a coach before his contract is up, which is, we know there's one thing that the Chicago Bears have been known not to do.
Never in the history of the Chicago Bears have they done.
And as far as I know, they've never allowed a GM to do whatever the fuck it is that he wants to do. So if that comes into fruition, is that actually true? Then I can't see Matt Eberflus, if he wins 4 games or maybe even he wins 5 games, that he won't be gone. That's why I keep constantly saying, do not let your fucking offense, do not let your coordinators get your dumb ass fired. I'm done.
Right, you're up, JB. Hit it.
Oh, so JB. I have 2 answers. Football me says I subscribe to the Nathaniel Hackett theory. I don't need you to give me 17 games to know that you can't play. You can't coach this team and play this game. Get out.
Agreed.
Politics me says because Ryan Poles and Eberflus have the same agent, he might make it. He might squeak by and say,
"Great point.
We'll give you 1 more year just off the love."
Feels like a conflict of interest.
It for sure.
No, yeah.
Falmousi, you made a comment about when have they ever gotten rid of a coach prior to that? Well, let me give you a little point. Very good friend of mine. I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag. Lovie Smith. We fired this coach with 10 wins. Okay?
10-6.
There's a point I'm going to make. Dick Butkus, the great Dick Butkus, the legendary man himself, said one time, this organization throws quarters around like they're manhole covers. Okay? Mm-hmm. The same similarity from 2010 there is now in 2023 is that they spent a boatload of money to try to improve this team. If Matt Eberflus does not take this team to the playoffs this year, he's gone.
Agree.
Kaput.
Agree.
Playoffs or bust for this
playoffs.
team.
Playoffs.
In my opinion, he will be done, and rightfully so. Because they do not want to lose all that money. They're going to have to bring someone in, and they'll end up busting this team up. If they have one of these really, really bad seasons, it's not going to look good. But I personally think it's playoffs or nothing for this team, for this head coach.
They already threw $250 million away at Arlington Heights, so they don't give a shit about money.
Hold on, is that deal dead now?
No, it's all BS. How about Rex Ryan or John Gruden as a coach?
It's the Chicago
I
Bears
love Rex
trying
Ryan.
to make them
I
bluff.
asked for
Rex
Rex Ryan 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been asking
John
people-
Gruden. Did someone say John
That's
Gruden?
me. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I live in a state. I mean, that's the liberal capital of the world in Chicago. You're going to
$100
bring
million
John.
John
You're going to
Gruden.
bring John Gruden to probably the most liberal city in the country, next to New York.
No,
We
look,
need,
Really?
we need like a Mike Ditka type coach in this, in this
I
city, man.
I
I've been
totally
saying-
agree
I've
with
been
you.
saying for years, and people think I'm crazy. People think I'm crazy for saying this, but I still think they should throw all their money at Harbaugh. Jim,
Nope.
No.
Jim will not come.
look at his record against the Packers
Look
as
here.
a coach.
I'm a Michigan fan.
So
Don't
am
believe
I.
it. Me too.
Jim Harbaugh won. Would he come if they threw enough money? Probably so. Will I think he'd be a good coach for this team? No.
He'd only last 2 to 3 years himself. His message
Yeah.
is real
Jim
stale.
does not.
real quick.
Jim
All he
rubs
did-
people
All
the
he did in San
wrong
Francisco
way.
was win big games. I mean, yeah, he lost big games.
Do you know
too,
who
but
I
yeah,
wanted to
make
be
it.
the Chicago head coach?
Who?
Eric Bieniemy. Truth be known.
Yeah.
That's who I wanted. I wanted Eric
Mhm.
Bieniemy. I wanted a guy with an offensive mind that believed in running the football but throwing a lot of wrinkles into the passing game. That's what I wanted.
You mean the same Eric Bieniemy that actually called the offensive plays at Kansas City, opposed to that fucking lame that they gave us, that they lied and said was calling the fucking plays that got the duties taken from us?
He
After
did call
4
the games. He
games.
got them taken away.
The middle of game 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman over here, foul mouth, see, he's the announcer. I love this guy.
How about Singletary as the
Great
DC?
No,
How about Singletary as the DC?
You guys want a funny story about Mike Singletary?
sure.
Y'all remember when he was the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers?
Can't play
I
well.
want winners.
Won't do it.
Okay.
Can't do
Can't
it.
do it.
I got a funny story for y'all, and you're going to remember this game. I flew up to Chicago. God rest my father, his soul. You know, he was with me, and Coach Lovey was the head coach of the Bears at the time. And the Bears were beating them something stupid like 40-something to nothing. And I was sitting on the very first row in the end zone on the opposing's tunnel, and I was in the first seat. So as the players are coming by, I could literally touch their helmets, you know, as they were passing by. Right before game time, it was who was the quarterback for the 49ers? He was a rookie from
Was it Tim
the Mormon
Rattay?
College. No, the Alex Smith.
Oh,
He's sitting up front with Alex Smith, and I'm looking in the back going, hey, bro, this is not Kansas. Welcome to Chicago. You're in hell now, brother. So they come out on the field. So at halftime, here comes Singletary. You could see his veins popping. And all I did was stick up the letter L. You're a loser. Mike Singletary went crazy. He started to try to climb the side of the wall. He's screaming, I'm going to fucking kill you. He's going nuts. The whole corner of the stadium went completely quiet. They started throwing beers and hot dogs on top of me going, what in the world did you say to him? Security comes to get me to try to escort me. But you know who was on the sideline doing sideline reporting was Richard Dent. I had no idea. He was standing in front. And he turns around and he goes, that man never said anything bad. He never cursed at him. At the end of the game, Mike Singletary's running off the field. And there's a reason why I'm telling you this. And he says, hey, yo, and I'm trying not to make eye contact with him because the guy was literally bona fidely crazy. And he goes, you know, the Lord spoke to me and I wanted to apologize to you. He says, but after all the years and what I've done for the city, how could you like treat me like that? And I said, Mike, you're wearing garnet and gold, bro. I said, you're not a Bear anymore. I said, but thank you for the football. I appreciate it. So years later, I brought it up to Lovey because he was down here at Lakewood High School on the south side of St. Pete when he was with the University of Illinois, and he was recruiting some college talent over there, who, by the way, they breed football players here. I got to tell him that story, and he goes, wait a minute, that was you? The entire Bears defensive coaching staff and Lovey Smith and Cutler are sitting there going, what the hell is Mike doing trying to climb into the stands? And he goes, that was you. And I was like, yeah. And he could not stop laughing. True story. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. And if you guys remember the game, it was on ESPN. They were talking about it. What did this fan say to Mike Singletary? I'm telling you, I thought I was going to get killed. Everybody in that corner of that end zone was throwing beers on top of me. They thought I was disrespectful to Mike.
That's a good
What
story.
year would this be?
Awesome story here.
But wait a minute. So Singletary is DC? Yes or no?
No. Singletary, if I'm
For
not
me,
mistaken,
no.
was coaching.
For
No,
me,
Singletary for the Bears
Yeah.
as a DC. Oh, I'd
Yeah.
take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
For me, no. For me, no.
No, I would take him as a DC because of the philosophy that he brings to be a lot more aggressive, and I think I like coaches like that. I like aggressive
I
type of
wouldn't take
coaches.
him. I wouldn't take him necessarily for a DC. Maybe for a position coach, but not necessarily for a DC. Because all I still have is memories of Singletary being a head coach, and it wasn't too impressive.
No, but I mean,
he had like one good year, really.
I would like to see him on the football team as a coach in some sort of a capacity because of the winning mentality that the guy has. He has a fire in his belly.
Exactly.
And I love Lovey as a coach, but when they went to the Super Bowl, everybody remember this? That was Lovey on the sideline, just clapping. Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. You got to see that fire, and that's what I loved in like a Buddy Ryan or a Rex Ryan or even his other brother. Mike Singletary is the same way.
Ryans.
But
I hate to say this shit, like Dan Campbell.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest here, and I'm not even trying to be funny. If I'm getting somebody young or new or something, that's different. But if I'm going old school, if it's not Fangio, Rod Marinelli,
Rod, baby.
Remember, Rod had them. Rod, that front four was.
Hey, I got a special.
Absolutely.
I got a special guest coming. Oh no, he decided not to. I was going to ask him, who do you like in the game? If you touch the camera, I'm going to kill you. Go away.
Seriously, if you don't give me somebody like that just gives me that grit and grind and is willing to just go balls to the wall to get this defense where it needs to be, then I guess we have to get somebody new. I ain't talking about like Sean Desai new because like that was painful too, right?
Now, how can you say no to him?
No, I can't say no to that guy. I like him.
Oh, man, he's pretty cool. This is my buddy right here.
But matter of fact, isn't Sean Desai the Eagles defense coordinator?
Yeah, he's with the Eagles right now.
Yeah, so like, and he got a job with like a better team. But I mean,
everybody that leaves this organization, JB, goes to a better team.
Yeah, that's weird. Right?
Everybody that leaves Chicago, whether you're a coach or a player, succeeds somewhere else.
I just can't imagine what Giants fans are saying right now after losing 40-0 to the Cowboys.
I'm thinking you got to go get an impact player. Like you got to see what an Aaron Glenn is asking for. If you can bring Rex is going to want to be a head coach. Rex is not going to want to be.
I saw somebody in the comments say Deion Sanders. What do you think about Deion?
I'm all for it. All for it.
It would be exciting if nothing else. It'll be like a 2 to 3 year ride.
First of all, this is why I said no to Deion Sanders.
I'm with you, Chris. Whatever you're going to say, I agree with you on this.
Nobody knows if Deion Sanders can handle adversity.
Yeah,
he went to Jackson State. They won. Let me tell you something. This whole Deion Sanders train.
Yeah.
By week 4 in college football, when they play Oregon, you about to see, or 5, whatever it is, you about to see Colorado get the dog shit beat out of them. They may lose 5 games in a row. They're not that good.
I'm cool with that, but you know what I'm not cool with? I'm not cool with an egghead in his playbook saying complex offense screen. Complex offense screen.
Try
some of that. You know
what makes you think that Deion
you can make that a song, JB. That's like a beat.
Is going to be calling play?
You know what? I'll say this about Deion. I don't know Deion's personal coaching philosophy. Yes, he won some games, and he's a hot commodity right now. But one thing I do know is this. From his NFL playing career, Deion is a winner.
Without question. But so was Mike Singletary.
Well, Mike Singletary is a winner too, but what I'm thinking is the only problem with Mike Singletary is when you listen to different locker rooms, like he's a head case. Even when he was a linebackers coach, I want to think he was linebackers coach from Minnesota, right?
Yes, he was.
He's not altogether there, and players kind of. I wouldn't mind, like for real, if you really want to look at what their playing career was, if they wanted to get in coaching for the Bears right now, the way we should be designed. Tell me Patrick Willis's philosophy and how he played wouldn't be a great person to have coach.
Oh my God, another good player that you're talking about. But then again, great players. But great players don't necessarily transcend to being great coaches.
Yeah, sometimes they're
true, but then
owners like Jordan.
Well, no, that's a different story. Like
that's also like I think that's because great players expect everyone to be as great as them. You know, like they have like this almost unrealistic expectations of the people that go through their program.
They do, but in football, it's a little bit different because when you look at some of the former players that have had success, the list is very short because most of them don't become head coaches. A lot of them do become position players. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, 100% full transparency. If the Steelers have a terrible year and they fire Mike Tomlin for whatever reason,
I'll take him.
Yeah,
he's gonna be on a short
yes,
list.
Tomlin's gonna drive into retirement. He ain't.
I'm just saying, somebody like that with a proven record, no nonsense. First of all, no nonsense, because I don't care what people say. That hits bullshit. Excuse me, Mom, but that hits BS that Eberflus be promoting. Every team preaches that. They just don't have a fancy acronym for it.
Me too, Antonio.
Right. And I mean, look, and the thing is, like,
hold on. But then he goes on the sideline. He doesn't get animated. He doesn't get in people's faces. He doesn't get in the refs' faces. He just kind of does this.
Well, I mean,
watch him for the last 18 games. That's all he did. The one time I saw him get animated was on a challenge call that if he had a won, it would have hurt us.
It would have blew the number one pick.
Dude, shut up.
Are you talking about Tomlin?
No, now we're talking about
Tomlin. The thing
I remember us messaging.
Let's not say, look, Tomlin's not entirely no BS, but his BS works. You know, like he's got like he allows for it to a certain extent, and it's okay within what he does, and that's why I'm all in favor of Tomlin. Like it works for.
He don't allow no BS.
No, Tomlin. He definitely he's a player's coach.
Antonio Brown would have still been a Steeler.
Yes.
If he allowed BS, because he told him, don't turn that damn camera, that cell phone on in our locker room after a loss. And what did AB do? He turned that cell phone on and went on. Tomlin took him to the post.
I mean, everyone's got a threshold, right? Like there's a certain limit. But yeah, no, I mean, I think I would love to have Tomlin as the Bears head coach. Like, yeah,
I would.
I mean,
you know what? Let me tell you why I would like Tomlin. I was always wishy-washy on him, and you have to respect the guy that's been to the playoffs how many years in a row?
Well, he hasn't had a losing season.
I'm sorry, about the winning seasons. That says something about a head coach.
He's never had a losing season.
Y'all remember a couple of years back when everybody was talking about players kneeling for the national anthem? You guys remember the whole thing that was going on and what some head coaches and what coaches and what owners that never should have said something, but they did. I loved the way Tomlin handled it. It was a game against the Chicago Bears, who was their all-pro center. What was his name? It was the center who was in the military.
Villanueva.
Villanueva, that correct me.
Oh, right. That was a game just like
Valeria or something. But yeah.
So
Justin had a great game.
Half the team is supporting him. The other half of the team is not supporting him. And when they were asking Tomlin, he was dead in the middle. He never leaned one way left. He never leaned one way right. And some people took it as if Tomlin was being very wishy-washy. He should have taken a stance. No, man. He keeps his shit in the locker room. And that's what I like about a head coach. And when you mix it with a guy that understands the game like a Mike Tomlin, wow, that's something to be admired. And I would not mind seeing someone like him coaching the Chicago Bears. Listen, I love the general manager for the Chicago Bears. I think he can evaluate talent. I still am not giving up on him. I don't particularly care for the coaching staff. And that's going to come out here in the next couple of weeks. And I sure hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't lying, because I hope I'm wrong too. I want us, it's week 1, because let's be honest. Last year when we beat the 49ers, everybody was on their high horse, talking about all these great things that we were going to do. We beat the 49ers, who were a very good team. Shit, one of the best teams in the NFC last year.
They were the best team in the NFC last year, and they didn't go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Now, this year, we lose the first week to our fucking rival, and everybody's ready to lose their fucking minds, myself included. But I'm going to reel myself back in and just to check, and I'm going to look and see what it is that they're going to continue to try to do to improve this football team, to see what they're going to call. Maybe game plans change, things change, hopefully so, because I don't want to fucking overreact over week 1. I don't want this to continue the rest of the season. but I damn sure don't want to overreact.
Because going into the season, I don't know if you guys agreed. I mean, everybody was blowing the Lions, but the thing is this division's up for grabs. I mean,
should be, right?
You know what I mean? It's like the Bears have an opportunity to sneak in somehow. But if, again, I know it's week 1, but just the way they came out and performed, I'm sorry, I have a huge problem with that. That starts right with the head coach and the offensive coordinator and the defense coordinator. How do you not have your team ready? And another issue that I have with the players, and this goes for the entire NFL, we're down by 20-some points and you're making a tackle and you're pounding your chest and you're pointing to the crowd. Shut the fuck up and get back to the huddle and let's, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't stand that shit.
Remember when Lamar Houston tore his
That's
ACL?
how I was just going to say that, Easy. Yeah. Oh, you're down 48-6. You make a sack and you blow your knee out.
That was against Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. He jumped up in the air and he hyperextended it.
That's a good one right there, D. That's a good one. But right now we got to pay some bills. So let's go ahead and pay them bills, Frank.
There was a time when high standards prevailed, when excellent craftsmanship was displayed and treated with the utmost importance. Acquire the crisp, refreshing taste of Moore's Beer. Moore's Beer. Raise your standards.
Adios. Yeah. 1 month, 2 month, 3. You don't get your limits. Come they move like a disco. One nick in my lolata. Happy pose, happy actor. So never give me ball under. Oh yeah, come take a picture. Right, young fire. Oh yeah, follow my instruction. Cut the smoke cannabis. Doctor say make a pop.
Bro, that makes me want to go back down to Kingston. Are you kidding me? Man, you have no idea some of the clubs down in Kingston.
Yeah.
Yes, the Jamaica Kingston. I had the blast of my life. And by the way, what is this Moore's Beer? How come I never got one of these?
Because you're in the suburbs, am I right?
Suburbs? Yeah, I'm on the west. I'm from the south side, little brother. The south side of Florida.
You should bring the Moore out to the Ville for wings.
I'm from Chicago. I was born and raised in Cincinnati.
Getting out to the Ville, man.
JB, the tank. Where's T-Nix? See, I come on the show. T-Nix not here. There's some kind of not a coincidence here. Okay.
I'm born and raised in Cicero, but I moved down to Florida.
That's the thing. We gotta get to G. We gotta get
bottoms up in the Ville. Let's go. 99-cent wings.
And then here we gotta get down to Tampa too, man.
But JB, bro, seriously, don't you really like it when I taunt you guys in the middle of winter and y'all are, just like 30 below zero, and then I, just say, hey, I'm just chilling out here by my pool in the middle of January.
Well, when you say pool, you get me, yes.
Oh yeah, I do get him. Really, Harry? You had to go there?
Hey, Greek, don't you like the newscast in Chicago? And they got breaking news. We've got 6 inches coming, and it's going to be winter storm warning. Yeah, it's winter, dumbass.
We're like this.
Yeah. The first thing I do is I call my brother or my aunts or my cousins up in the suburbs, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, nothing, just hanging out by the pool. I'm having a barbecue. Why? What's going on? She goes, "You're having a barbecue?" Yeah, I'm having a barbecue. Aren't you?
Oh.
I just love doing that, especially in the wintertime. But don't worry, I'll make you guys feel good, because when you invite me back on and it's at nighttime, I'll do a setup from one of the tiki bars out on the beach, and you'll get to see a little bit of action, with the lights. And see, tonight I'm not all set up. I don't have all my camera equipment and my studio mics and everything else kicking. But when I do these live appearances, I will do one for you, and I think you guys will really enjoy it.
Absolutely. I literally need to know before we move on to our next segment and wrap this thing up.
What is it?
What are we doing with these odds? I'm not feeling it, Harry. I would like to put a little something down, but I'm not feeling, and you kind of alluded to it with the under. So give us your expertise.
Oh, no. I never said under.
No, I said I'm not feeling the under.
If it's raining, I'm feeling the under.
No, even if it's raining, guys, it's not going to rain that bad. It's going to rain for a little while. It always does around 12, 1 o'clock. Cat, if you don't get away from my camera, I swear to God, you are going to be Chinese food tomorrow.
I think you want to
Could be
shout
Taco
out at
Bell,
Grogu.
too.
And there were no cats harmed during this, I promise. Let me go ahead and give you some plays. I normally save this for the over-under shows, but there are a couple of games that I actually did like a lot. And, well, first off, Minnesota's getting 7 points at the Eagles. To me, I think that's still a lot of points. I think Minnesota's going to be able to put up a ton of points. The total is 49. Try to stay away from that game. The Chargers are at the Tennessee Titans. The Chargers are -3. Never, ever, ever take mediocre road teams that are favorite. Green Bay Packers, here's one for you. They're 1.5-point favorites at the Atlanta Falcons. You can take Atlanta at home on the money line, make a very small position. You can get +120.
Really?
What's another game here? Yes.
My number one rule is always stay away from the Falcons, stay away from the Chargers.
Well, I'm also going to give you another one.
Bears.
If you ever see a
Oh,
road favorite at game time that's a 2.5-point favorite, there's something called the 88% rule. 88% of the time when the road team is favored by exactly 2.5 points, the home team will win the game. Not cover, they win almost 88% of the times. But I do love the 41.5. You can bet the over in that game. The other game that I really like is... At this point, I can't give too much out. I like Atlanta at home on the money line and over in the Chicago game. I don't normally condone people playing parlays. I'm more of a straight game player because parlays are kind of tough. Let me put it to you this way. I gave out 6 picks last week. I went 4-2. I had Atlanta -3 against Carolina. They won. I took Cleveland on the money line. They were getting 3 points.
I was going to ask you about Cleveland because that was the bet. The win got you a ton, right?
I loved that game, and I gave that. I gave the points on a road team, which is unusual, with Jacksonville -4.5 at Indy. The Tampa Bay Minnesota game, this is a game I lost. I told everybody to bet the over. It didn't go over. It just missed by a couple because nobody could score in the first quarter. The over in the Bear game was a winner. And then I made a real bum pick and actually thought that the New York Giants were going to be a good team. So I went 4-2. So the reason why I don't like parlays, one of those 2 over games I had consistently in every one of the parlays. They all lost. But I also had win money on every one of those games. So it was basically a small profit week for me. Had I eliminated the parlays, I would have made actually really good money that week. And hopefully people that are watching the picks that I'm giving them stay away from teasers. They stay away from parlays and you make those straight wagers. And as I always say, one thing, keep your bets low and make sure your returns are high. Look for the road. Don't look for the road favorites. It's easy to make that sexy pick. Always look for that home underdog that have a chance to upset. And my upset special this week is going to be Atlanta over the Green Bay Packers.
I like that.
If they can get some pressure on that son bitch, he gonna fold.
Oh no, I'm telling you, Jordan Love is not going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. See, I think you're saying it the right way.
Only against the Bears.
I truly think that you take any competent college quarterback and put him behind that Packers line last week, and he would have had a pretty good game.
Yes.
I really think that.
Yes.
I don't think we made the right adjustments. I don't think you're going to see the same team this year in Tampa. I mean, this week in Tampa. And if you do, then you better start playing for a quarterback because they're going to get rid of a quarterback and they're going to get rid of a head coach, unfortunately.
We got a question for you, Greek. Is why do you think Baltimore is going to be a dog?
I don't think I said Baltimore was a dog, and if I did, I misspoke. Stand by. Baltimore Ravens? No, they're 3.5. Yeah, they are. What am I talking about? The Baltimore Ravens are 3.5-point underdogs on the road. I haven't looked at the injury.
Who are they up against?
They're up against the Cincinnati Bengals on the road,
Yeah,
and Joe
Burrow
Burrow
ain't gonna do that shit again.
Bengals will bounce back, I think.
But hold on, and I got to tell you, I mean, they never really had any kind of top 10 or even Pro Bowl receivers since that quarterback's been QB1 for Baltimore. This is going to be a little bit different. Baltimore is going to be a very dangerous team, and again, I don't sleep on this Baltimore team. Roquan Smith is going to have these boys really fired up, especially on the defense. I really like what I've seen. But if anybody really wants that honest opinion and pick, I need to watch the game a couple of times and go through it, and then I can give an honest assessment. But if I'm giving it to you from what I watch very little, I kind of like Baltimore in this game, and I honestly think that Cincinnati might start off 0-2 this year, guys. Believe it or not.
Last year, I'm gonna tell you why I say that too, and I agree with you 100%.
But I'm not giving that pick out yet. I haven't watched it, but I didn't like what I seen against Cleveland, And Cleveland got that ass. I'm telling you that right now.
Let me tell you two things that are very glaring for anybody that watches football. Joe Burrow is still hurt. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, Orlando Brown at left tackle gave up the most pressures in a season with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback. Orlando Brown is now Joe Burrow's left tackle.
Yeah, well, they didn't do any better in Kansas City because they got the human turnstile at the left tackle and Donovan Smith, former left tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You had Donovan, right?
However, he looked a lot better in a KC uniform, I could tell you that.
Now, how about that Philly Patriots game? Now, you look at Jalen Hurts and that stacked Eagles team. Are you telling me that, Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Justin Fields?
Great question. No, I do not. But when I was giving the games out on my podcast earlier last week, there were the 6 games, the Carolina, Atlanta, the ones that I told you about, and I went 4-2. The rest of the games, I called them insignificant games, and I said, if you couldn't bet the underdog, stay away from these games, and I wasn't giving those picks. And one of those games were the Philadelphia Eagles at the New England Patriots. Listen, Belichick, there's an aura about this guy.
Yeah.
I don't ever like this. I mean, how many times are you going to see New England as being an underdog at home? And the total was 44.5. But the better question is, in hindsight, is 2020. Did anybody see this coming? Washington was a 7.5-point favorite. They were supposed to wipe the floors with Arizona. I told people to stay away from that game. That was a trap game. Tennessee at New Orleans. That was a coin flip.
Yeah, I thought Derek Carr was going to do a little bit more.
You ready for this? Sean Payton, the mighty offensive-minded coordinator for the Denver Broncos, he's supposed to turn this offense around. The Broncos were a 3-point favorite and told everybody, if you cannot bet the Raiders in this game, don't play it.
2 key drops.
Why? You ready for this? The total was 43. I want you to think about that. For an offensive genius, the last time that Sean Payton's team had an over-under at 43, I don't remember. So that's telling me that Vegas, it doesn't happen. So it's telling me that Vegas doesn't know what to think about this team. Miami and the Chargers, that's a coin flip. Philly, New England, that was a coin flip in my opinion. And I told everybody that the Rams were probably going to upset Seattle, and they were catching 6 points, but it wasn't strong enough a conviction for me to give people a play like that. So those other games, and I still have the sheet here, which probably means nothing, but those games, they were not picks. And it really basically came to fruition that I was right on almost 80% of the games to stay away from because they were trap games. And be careful. Be careful out there for people that want to bet Tampa because it's only 3-point favorite against the Bears.
Did you say
I'm going to point to what happened this week.
What are the Eagles getting against or what are the Vikings getting against the Eagles on Thursday night?
7 points.
7. Okay.
They're getting 7 points.
Kirk Cousins on the road. Kirk Cousins in primetime, I'm almost compelled to, take the Vikings and swallow, or take the Eagles and swallow the points.
But why pick a side in that game when you can play the over/under on it? Don't you believe? Because the Minnesota's defense, does this scare anybody on this panel? Honestly,
no.
Well, no.
Brian Flores is concerning, but their defense is not.
Sure.
Do you think they're going to miss Dalvin Cook? Anybody?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think they already do.
Yeah, I mean Matheson is not bad, but I mean Kirk Cousins is going to Kirk Cousins, right? Isn't that kind of what happens?
There's something going on in that game, by the way, because they just now took that game away from the betting lines from Minnesota and Philadelphia. There is no line on this game.
So who's hurt?
I don't know. Something just happened. Within the past 10 minutes, they've removed this game from the lines. And it just came back up. It's still 7. And by the way, it's 48.5 for the over-under.
Damn.
So just think about that. How many points do you think, not the Minnesota Vikings, how many points do you think Philadelphia is going to put up on that Bears defense? Right. 24? 28? 30? 32?
Well, the thing is this. We got to see what Jalen Hurts is going to do. He had one hell of a year last year. We got to see if he'll be able to do it again.
Yeah, but if they base it off of what he did last game, that's kind of not fair because with Bill O'Brien now taking over Mac Jones, that's a different Patriots offense. The Patriots always have a solid defense. Mm-hmm. So I never thought there was going to be 30 points for Justin.
This is the thing that you heard all about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts really got 2 number ones. He got A.J. Brown. He got Devontae Smith.
I mean, but
and
they
a
have
pretty good offensive line
great defense.
with a nice tight end.
No, it's a great offensive line. It's an elite offensive line.
I'm just sitting up there saying, before people start anointing guys and trying to sit up there and tell them that they're this guy and that guy and they're the next coming, you got to see them do it for a couple of years.
Harry, I'm gonna hit you offline because I want to. You know what game I'm really intrigued about?
What's that, buddy?
I'm intrigued about that Chiefs game, man.
Which one? The Chiefs and who?
The next coming game. Like, I'm just like, because they lost to the Lions basically because Kadarius
They're playing the Jaguars and they're a 3-point favorite on the road. You got to stay away from the game.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because remember, the Jaguars hadn't won in Indy in some time.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like,
I thought it was the opposite.
no, the Jaguars hadn't
Indy
won
couldn't beat
about a while, right?
I thought the Colts hadn't won in Jacksonville. Let me
That's
look
a game I can't give out. I mean, that's a coin flip. Kansas
Are the Jaguars contenders this year or pretenders?
No, they're not pretenders. The team's actually a really good team. They've improved that defense, and I'll tell you what, that head coaching staff has got these boys playing really well.
I think they're going to the AFC Championship.
The question is for Kansas City is whether or not they're going to get any of the receivers back in this game. And unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes, I wouldn't say he got exposed, but he did come back to reality a little bit when you have pedestrian receivers not making their plays, and especially not having Travis Kelce, his security blanket, and still almost won the football game.
Yeah.
Now, if they get both of those playmakers back, I don't normally condone taking road favorites, but in this game, I would have to, because I couldn't imagine.
We haven't heard anything about Kelce yet, Harry. So we don't even know if he's going to play. So once he comes out and they say he's going to play, won't that shift?
Yes.
JB, we're both right, by the way, about the Jags and the Colts. Jags win at home, Colts win on the road. Usually.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Any other games you guys want to know about this coming week?
That's the only one I was mainly concerned about, because my thing was, God forbid, but if the Bears lose to the Bucks and then they have to see a 0-2 pissed off Patrick Mahomes, that's going to be bad.
Okay. I'd like to give out one more game for you guys. I haven't even watched it except for the game that I watched yesterday. The New York Jets are traveling to the Dallas Cowboys.
Woo!
The Jets by game time will be getting 10 or 10.5 points, and the over and under is 39.5. Do not be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. Do not think that you can play the over in this game with conviction. If you cannot play the under in this game, I have a rule of thumb. If a total is under 40, they're trying to get you to bet the over. 75% of the times the games do go under. I like a very small parlay. Take the points with the Jets and play the under, because Dallas is going to get smacked around in this game a little bit. I'm not saying the Jets are going to win, but it's going to be a lot closer than what you think. You think you had a dogfight yesterday? Wait till you see this dogfight.
It's not going to be 40-0, that's for sure.
You know, the New York Jets.
How do you feel about the Brown? I want to ask about Brown Steelers.
It's a divisional game, man. I mean, I don't know where to go to on there. It's really hard.
It's in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh is supposed to be a favorite, and
no,
it isn't. Here, you ready? You ready? Depending on injuries, Pittsburgh right now is a 2.5-point favorite. Do you guys remember the 88% rule?
Yep.
Okay. If the road team is a 2.5-point favorite, which Cleveland is, 88% of the times, the home team will actually win the game. This is one of these situations. Monitor that line. If that line ends up being 2.5 points at game time, you can go ahead and bet Pittsburgh on the game. Don't go the other way.
Checks out.
Hey, Frank, when you brought me in and said something about, we'll talk about the officiating, let me tell you another point I wanted to make about this game. The Bears offense got moved down the field because of penalties against Green Bay. That's the only way that offense moves, is if they get penalties. So,
yeah, that's right. There was a couple of penalties when they did get
what's your take on that one pass to Cole Kmet? Because I thought he got like sexually assaulted in that end zone, which hit the defensive player in the head. I thought that was clear as day pass interference, but
it didn't actually hit him in the head. If you remember, he turned around and
he
actually
turned around.
It was let me tell you something. I can watch that in slow motion. That was a very, very poorly thrown ball. And that's my opinion on it. I don't think Kmet ran the wrong pattern. I think Justin made the wrong read. If Kmet turns to the inside, that's 6. If Justin throws the ball to the outside over the shoulder, that's 6 points. He threw to the shoulder. He threw to the back shoulder on a guy that was trailing on him. What do you think, Bandit? Am I right? No, I'm not feeding you. Go away.
I just feel the play before, if Justin throws the ball away and doesn't give rookie Lucas Van Ness the sack, then we have something up the middle. We have a shot to score. And
it was 7-6 at halftime, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean?
You see no crossing patterns. You see no seam routes. But I'm telling you what, they are the best bubble screen team in football. Hey, Grogu, what do you think of it?
He thinks they should fire Luke Getsy.
Yep.
Grogu, too. Let me see. If your eyes open, we should fire Luke Getsy. I guess. I think Falmasi's frozen up there. Yeah. No, he didn't. He didn't freeze. No, he didn't freeze. He just ain't paying no attention. I like that.
Nah, I'm listening.
I was just wondering if what Grogu had to say about it. Should we throw more bubble screens or?
I think Grogu tired of seeing the bubble screen instead.
If you look around the league, a lot of those screens weren't really working. They did. The Jets and Buffalo tried to do that too. They ran a couple of times. And Green Bay ran it. Of course, they can run it against the Bears, and he ran for 60, 80 yards or whatever it was. So it's just, I don't know where this came from. I don't know why, especially this team is.
Oh, there's Grogu.
I don't know why this team fall in love with the bubble screen. It's just a useless play.
You just mentioned the Jets. A lot of people don't know this. The Jets have 10. They kept 10 defensive linemen. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. And they're 10, and they rotate them constantly.
Look who their head coach is.
Yeah, 10. 8 of their defensive linemen can start for any team in the National Football League. Jeez. You talk about deep. That defensive line is deepest that I have personally ever seen in the 57 years I've been on this earth. I've never seen a D line that deep in my entire life. They run one wave, they bring in the next set of downs, they'll run another wave at you. It's something to witness, man. And they, my friend, can get it with a 4-man rush.
Right. I was what? So, that's another show here because now you're making me think that Poles can't evaluate D line.
No, he can, but you're not drafting these guys. You got to understand, man. You take a look at the draft.
They drafted 3 of them. They drafted 3 of them.
Listen, that kid from the South Carolinas. What the hell is
his name? Is Pickens. Zach Pickens.
That's what I just said.
Oh, I thought
that kid can ball. Give him some time to develop, and you're going to see him really, really start to develop. I really like what he did in college. He's actually a really good player. He's going to be a better run. He's going to play the run better. He's going to play the pass, but he's going to be a plug. He's actually he's going to be a real dominant defensive lineman as long as they get a bull sitting up at the nose. I'm telling you, man, they really need some help.
They got him slated to play the one technique /nose, and they have Javon Dexter to play the 3.
Yeah, well, Javon Dexter, let me tell you something. If they switch those players around, in my opinion, they would be a little bit better.
Well, you saw Javon firsthand down there too, so
yes, I have. In my opinion, he's actually played all 4 spots on the D line.
Well, they need some goddamn type of pass rush. But let's go ahead and get to some shout outs. Since we looking at what is it?
I got a dip. I want
14 right now. So we'll go ahead and kick it off with you, G. Want to give a shout out to anybody?
Me? Oh no.
Oh, easy. You got to leave.
Oh yeah, because I have to.
Right, go ahead,
and I want to promote my show. I want to shout out real quick the Atlanta Falcons because they beat the Panthers week 1, and that sets us in the right direction for getting that number 1 pick in the draft. So shout out Atlanta. Hope you go 2-0 and beat Green Bay because fuck Green Bay. So that's my first shout out. Shout out to Roshan Johnson, who I think was the only bright spot for the Bears, and Darnell Mooney, who was also a bright spot for the Bears on Sunday. But really, ultimately very disappointing game. Shout out to football season being back because in general, football season being back is a good thing. Hopefully it goes a little better than last season. And by a little, I mean a lot. Shout out to a new tomorrow and to hope that against Tampa Bay, the Bears decide to show up and actually come up with a game plan that works. And shout out to all you guys, fun shooting the shit with y'all, even though, we lost. Still better to commiserate than, just wallow in my own misery about the Bears. So always a good time to shoot the shit with you guys. And lastly, of course, shout out to everyone in the chat, and everyone who are tuning in, even the lurkers. Your viewership is very much appreciated. Tune in to Easy Does It Friday night on Chicago Clubhouse Network, 8 p.m. Central Time. I will be talking about the Bears and other football-related stuff. Peace out, guys.
Later.
Easy. 2-2. All right, G, you up next.
Oh, me? All right. Let's see. Shout out to old age and maybe HR so we can fire some coaches and get new ownership in Chicago. The White Sox are absolutely horrible.
Hey, but I'm still repping, bro.
I see that.
Still repping them here.
I'm sorry. Jerry needs to go too. Him and Virginia, they need to get in a little dinghy with a one oar and take a long walk off a short pier. So,
hold on. One question for you. And I don't mean to interrupt you, G. My bad.
That's okay.
Do we have the oldest fucking owners in sports?
We do.
Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, it doesn't make no damn sense. We got
we're gonna make you the announcer. I love this guy. You have no idea. Pharmacy, I gotta have you and Grogu on one of my shows but I'll make sure it's after 10 p.m. Trust me.
I got some flack for saying that Virginia needs to go, and I said that Eddie Jackson played poorly, and somebody said, "Why? What is the Bears seeing him?" I said, "Virginia has the hots for him," and somebody told me that.
God, you did not.
Yeah, somebody told me that was disrespectful or whatever. But I on my page, shout out for my page if you want to go visit. It's Sportsline on Facebook. I want to thank everybody for hitting me over 1,000 likes and follows finally. So I appreciate that. Shout out to the Clubhouse guys. Always a pleasure coming on. And listen, if you want me to come on every Monday or Tuesday or whatever it is to come on and talk Bears, because I'll be throwing stuff at my TV, it looks like, for the rest of the year. So it was really good. And Harry the Greek, man, you're right on point with a lot of things. So.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Were you with real quick before I leave and get out of here? Were you with for the convicts or the Catholics down there in South Florida?
That's a little bit on the political side.
Wait, that's a different show, right?
Yeah, have me on for that. We'll talk more about that. But
you see this? Hang on. I'll stick it in someone's ass. I do not like you. I'm an SEC guy and a Tiny 10 guy. No puns intended. I do root for my Illini. I do like to root for the Big Ten and everything else. But bro, seriously, I mean, I'm a homegrown, born and raised in Chicago. But how can you not appreciate what the SEC has done for football, especially in college? Honestly,
what the hell has Illinois done for football in fucking college?
They had a decent season last year.
Were they 500? Did they finish above? Oh, yeah, they had a good defense. That was the only reason why.
Of course they did. They represented a lot of Florida boys down here from Lakewood High. Shout out to them guys. Come on.
I'm a Michigan guy. Go blue with Foul C, so I'm a big blue guy.
Baby.
Yes, sir. So, but yeah, shout out to you guys. I appreciate it. And I'm talking about the wings, man. Wings and beers out here in the Ville. So let's do it. And shout out to T-Nick for not being on the show today. So,
hey, where is Terrence, man? I texted him earlier today. Said, man, you want me on? It's like, yeah, man, I'd love to have you on. But I don't see Terrence anywhere.
He's taking a little bit of a break.
That's
he had some work he said he had to do. So
he's got
Boys, be good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, talk to you, man. All right, peace.
All right, here it's on you.
I guess it's me. I'm gonna go out. You see, this is the first time I'm having to do shout outs. Check this out, man. You get to see my mug and everything else. Let me bring this down just a little smidge right here.
Oh,
first off, gentlemen.
Harry, before you get into your shout outs, tell Peter we said what's up.
Of course, and I'm going to make sure that I give Peter the shout out right here. You can catch me on Monday and Wednesday evenings live on the Sports Web with Peter Blake down here talking Tampa sports as well as other sports across the National Football League. And on Sunday mornings, gentlemen, if you want to catch the over-under and you get the hottest picks around, you can come see me on Facebook, YouTube, or anything right there live on the Sports Web. You never know. Something might be coming up in the CCP. I haven't talked with them yet, but we could be doing something pretty soon. Again, Falmouth C, man, you're my boy. Grogu sitting right there. Frank the Tank, love listening to you. JB, don't kill nobody, bro. Okay? Much love. And there's Grogu. I can hear him. And as I always say, keep your bets low and your returns high. Guys, thank you so much for having me on. I had a great
Happy
time.
to have you on, man.
But do me a favor, man. Don't throw in the towel yet. I know what we're seeing was ugly, but if I get another week of this, listen, I will be the first one on here, and you'll call me foul-mouthed Greek.
Always welcome to come back, and we could always use another foul mouth.
No, I'm gonna hit you on the side anyway, Harry, because I wanted to. Now
You got
the back on,
bro.
so,
You got them digits. You can hit me up anytime you want, bro.
Is that an iPhone though?
No, brother. I don't have the Antichrist. I run a Samsung. There's no Antichrist in my hands over here, bro. And I got another question for you. How do y'all afford to live up there anymore?
Yeah, every time I take a shit, I gotta pay tax.
That is my political statement of the year. You guys want
I hear that from everybody in Florida.
Come to Florida, baby.
We just
we
had a very nice, lovely outing Saturday at Hugh where the Edinger family, Paul Edinger's family, came in.
Oh, wow.
And visited us. And that was the first thing they said to us, too. It's like, what the hell are you doing up there? One of the best families ever, by the way. Love them. They were absolutely great.
My cousin George owns.
But they're in Florida as well. That's why I
can't blame them. My cousin George up there owns a very large meat distribution company. Originally, it was in Greektown off of Randolph Street.
Okay.
He had sold it a long time, especially around the West Loop. About 10 years ago, people were coming in and were buying everything, and they had it since my uncle and them immigrated from Greece. But anyway, long story short, now he's just south of Midway Airport, and it's becoming ridiculous. He's got probably employs maybe 80 or 90 people. And by the time he's done not only paying everybody and taking care of everybody, there's like peanuts left between this tax and paying these people off. You just can't do it anymore. Man, my hats are off to you guys. I don't understand it. And I always pray for the city because let me tell you something. There ain't nothing more beautiful than the beautiful city of Chicago. Gets a bad rap, but a lot of it's deserved. But the beauty, you can never take it away. I love that Chicago.
Very true.
Yeah, Harry, we always joke around about this too, even though it's not really something to joke around with the violence out here and everything as well. But
that's in a 2 square mile radius.
When the Bears win, there's less violence. This city is so much happier when these fucking Bears win.
Yeah, but that's the wintertime. All the shit happens since we're going to go there. It's usually in the middle of the summertime. Okay, it's when it happens, and it's understandable. And why aren't the people taking control of the neighborhoods? I got to shout out and ask something. Why aren't they taking control of the neighborhoods? Why? Why do I have to continually hear that there's 700 to 800 murders? Innocent people are getting killed in a 2 square mile radius of this great and wonderful city. What are we trying to do? Become another 8 Mile up in Detroit?
Yeah, we don't want that.
You know what I'm saying? I had to throw that out because I love my city. I love my roots. There ain't nothing I would do. I'm a South Sider forever and a day. Y'all know what I think of the North Side. I'm not allowed to say it.
Well,
Trust
I
me.
kind of alluded to it.
Okay. Really, I'm just not allowed to say it. I miss my city. I love the city of Chicago. There's nothing I wouldn't do for the city, but I just wish the people would just take control of back what it was. Let's clean up the neighborhoods. Let's get the manufacturing back. Let's get the jobs back in that city. Let's lower taxes, and let's just everybody live in harmony and everything else. But that's all I got, man. I want to thank you guys for letting me hang out for a little while. It was great. I didn't want to get political, but man, I just can't help it sometimes.
It's not really political. That's just saying you wish this freaking city would just get better. Nothing.
Absolutely. Chris.
We all want this city
Tank,
to get better.
JB, much love. Y'all have a good one.
Take care of yourself, Eric.
Deuces.
All right, Frank, you on up, sir.
All right. We'll keep it short. We don't got the violinist here, Terrence. So
yeah, thank God.
But no, shout out shout out to the chat, regardless, light from start to finish. We had a lot of viewers on from start to finish as well. So that's always awesome to see. I will always be that person and let JB really get deep into that chat. That's his favorite thing to do. Because since he can be the one who plays the violin.
I don't know.
I already started off with the shout out for the Edingers for coming out the queue. That was great. Loved having you on. Can't wait to see you guys all again. Yes. I will also give shout out, Fred Evans. Loved seeing you again, man. Bernard Berrien, loved seeing you again. Mama Gordon, always loved seeing you. I'm pretty sure that's like 4 weekends in a row you came out here, which is awesome. Misty McMichael showed up for a little while as well. That was always a pleasure to see. And am I missing anybody? And our guest, for fuck's sake, Ahmad Merritt, great guest to have on and everything. So huge shout out to Q as well. They put up a great setup and everything. So that's going to be my big shout out for the day.
Very well said, Frank. That was awesome. Foul, is it on me?
Yeah, it's on you.
Oh, I gotta take a deep breath, make sure my nose is clear.
It was a big chat today, dude. You might as well just keep it down a little bit.
Wait, the chat is on
start to finish.
I'm talking about everybody from Ant Stewart. Skylark came back in full force. My man Bullets came back saying shout out to all of us. Don Burr, our resident Detroit fan, other than Sherry. Manuel Valverde came in chiming in strong. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say this. Some of the people that we reached, are those the people that like we normally don't see them until football season? Because we had a lot of people that chimed in that I know were from other chats, and I haven't seen them probably since last year. But I'm glad they're back.
That's what we hope, and football season's back.
Yes, I'm definitely glad they're back. Continuing on, Jeremy Bowman, thank you for chiming in and giving good content. As Frank alluded to, Amber Edinger, our CCP family. Love you. Love to see you guys. You, Paul, the kids. Love to have you guys on always. We also had, let's see here, Scott J. Hopkins checked back in. Scott's one of our P1s. Welcome. Somebody new, Fidelis Collins. If I'm saying that right, if I'm not, I apologize. Brand new to my knowledge. Thank you for chiming in. Of course, my man, Tampa's own, Peter Blake. Thank you for chiming in, Peter. I hoped you had came on, but you know what, Peter, we'll get you next time. You and Harry, y'all my Florida love. Shout out to them. Corey Mosselman. Don't know where this gentleman came from, but thank you for chiming in because we always love new people right here on the CCP. Anthony McCoffey, welcome back. Thank you for chiming in. Eduardo Gargot from Mexico City.
Got to give you a shout out to there.
Got to give a shout out. Hey, used to hey, love that. Trey Shaw came back this week. Thank you. Why No Tony, our resident commissioner for our CCP Fantasy League.
Well, great. Shout out. I won week 1. How'd you do, JV?
Hell, I had us on the team. I don't know. Shit.
I won week 1.
But thank you for chiming in and always repping the CCP. And last but not least, if I'm not mistaken, I think we did everybody. No. I'm still scrolling. Koki 2415. Brand new to my knowledge. Thank you for chiming in. And Koki had a lot to say towards the end of the show. Definitely love having new people. Welcome to the CCP. Keep coming on. Shout out to my brothers, Foulmouth C, Frank the Tank, T in the background always. Also, shout out to our resident referee, Z and actor, Z-Force, Gary Zahara. Shout out to Nicholas Moreano, who came on for our first 30 minutes. Shout out to him. Shout out to my brother, Harry the Greek. Always love chopping it up with Harry, be it online, on the phone, whatever. Shout out to another guest that we had. We just weren't able to get him on. Former Bear, Kaseem Sinceno, checked in. We couldn't get him on the show. We apologize for that, and we hope we can get you on at another time. And finally, last but not least, shout out to my moms. I know if we only got one view and one person watching, it's always her. Miss Sandra, as she's so passionately called. Shout out. I was
really hoping to see her at Hugh, man. I was actually looking forward to that, but unfortunately, it sucked.
Man. Shout out to SB. Let's get it.
Hey. Okay, I guess I'm last. First off, want to send a shout out to the chat. The chat was lit tonight. Thank you all for your comments. I do apologize that we weren't able to get to everybody or read everybody's questions. It was so packed tonight. So I do apologize for that. Shout out to our guests, Nick, Z Force, Harry the Great. As JB said, we tried to get another individual in. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him in. Shout out to you two brothers, Frank the Tank, JB, our boy T Nick. Couldn't be on tonight. Had some things going on as far as some work. He had some work to do, so he wasn't able to get on. Shout out to our sponsors, Moore's Biz. Shout out to Hugh. Appreciate you for having us come out on Saturday with a couple Bears players. Shout out to Bernard Berry and shout out to Ahmad Mayer. Shout out to the Edinger family. Shout out to their kids. Hope they enjoyed their Shirley Temples that we had. We toasted it up, me and the kids with the Shirley Temples with a couple cherries in it. Also wanted to give a shout out to In the Zone. Give a shout out to Vision.
Have that vision.
Gotta have that
Wait, should I hit that one? Because we didn't have.
Yeah, you messed up my cue.
Vision.
I didn't know you were pulling a vision. It was the first time you pulled a vision.
You know who else we didn't shout out? One of our inactives. Hi.
Oh, God, I gotta go back to that one too. Now.
Look at this guy. This guy.
I mean, there's no question about that, but he didn't even dress.
Hi, I'm David Jones.
Wasn't his fault.
Hey, he didn't screw up, that's for sure.
Look, but with all them screens, that would have fit right into what he does best.
Right, that's a good point. Shit, EQ and him would have been a very good pairing if you're only going to be doing screens.
All right. Also, I want to give a shout out to the kiddies. I would say my mom watched, but she didn't fucking watch. She want to know how I know she didn't fucking watch? Because my mom was in there talking to her best friend, which happens to be my damn fiance. They've been on the damn phone for about 2 goddamn hours. So,
the whole show, bro?
Huh?
They've been on the whole show?
Yeah, they've been talking to each other on the goddamn phone. They ain't been watching the show.
That's what I'm saying. They've been on the phone.
Yes. When I'm not around, they talk even longer.
What's that? Hey, break this up. All
right. I don't have to lower my life insurance policy or something. Anyway, shout out to everybody. Hopefully we see a better. Shout out to the fucking Bears, man. Just give us something, man. Give us a better performance, please. God damn, these people in Chicago, we work too fucking hard and bust our ass every fucking day. To you that may not be watching, or if you do watching, if you are watching our Bears fan, look, we bust our ass every fucking day. Some people's whole fucking joy on their Monday mornings coming in is feeling the relief when you guys sit up there and you win on Sunday.
Especially us city employees. Tell them, Fal.
Yeah. So start fucking winning, man. Justin, that dumbass offensive coordinator calling them stupid ass plays. Change that shit at the fucking line of scrimmage. Change it. Fuck them. The fuck he gonna do? They ain't gonna fucking bench you. Believe that. They ain't gonna do that. Not gonna fucking put Nathan Peterman in that motherfucker. So don't worry about it. But that's our rant. That was our time today. So Frank the Tank. Oh shit.
Don't forget to what?
I don't know.
Like and subscribe.
Shit. Yeah, damn sure don't like. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Remember, like and subscribe to the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Okay? Please do. On YouTube. All right? We really do appreciate it. So, for Frank the Tank, JB, my man Grogu here, that the ladies love, and apparently the cats do too. Shit. I'm Foul Mouth C, and guess what, y'all? We out.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.
Good night, Alaska.